Why, hello there. Good meowing, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time it is for you, thank you so much for joining me and welcome to tonight's stream. So here's a fun thing that just happened. Just now happened. My Mix It Up program stopped working. Automation stopped working, so, oh no. Did you hear like nothing? Or when did it stop? Hello, love! Oh my goodness. Tonight is apparently just a little bit of fuckery. Okay, well, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is for you. I hope you're having a wonderful... Yeah, okay. Automation was broken. I had to, basically yoink him at the source. I had to task manager close, Mix It Up. So I'm gonna try and open it again. But yes, hello, Wolf. Oh my god, all your stuff, all the presents came in. There's the little Pusheen room cat is so cute. It's so cute. It's so cute and small. All right, Auton. Okay, yes, it's trying to connect to Stream Elements. I tell it yes, authorize. It says, all right, Mix It Up has been authorized. And then it says, cannot connect to Stream Elements. Which is okay. Doesn't really connect much to Stream Elements, but... Ugh. Oh my god. Wow! Thank you! Okay, I think that Mix It Up is broken for right now, because it is now completely frozen. Okay. So we'll just have to do this stream without Automation. Which sucks. That means all the head pats won't work. And the bonks won't work. It means a lot of stuff won't work. Okay, well, oh my god, wait, I fucking turned my air up, too. So, gonna have to, what is this thing? Why is that something that popped up? Thank you. All right, I'm gonna go turn my thing down. Turn my air down just a bit, because it's way too fucking hot in here. If I'm already overheating less than 10 minutes in. I haven't even started the game. Why is today so fun? I seriously question why today is so fucky for me. But yes. Oh, blessings. Wolf, your presents came in and I love them very much. Thank you. And apparently... Yeah, Faye doesn't want me to come Meguca. Pause. Okay. But also, I put up on throne some jelly beans because I was like, you guys know I haven't had jelly beans before. You know, that surprises you all. So, you know, if you want me to have jelly beans, if you buy them off throne, I'll do a stream. And then Zetetica just swooped. Why do I keep mixing up your names? They're too close. Zedulum. Not you, sorry. Zedulum swept in and was like, all right, eat the beans. So, we will be doing a jelly bean stream where I will have my first jelly beans. The first jelly beans ever. Oh, that's right. We're just straight in. Okay, so. Yeah, lean mean bean eating stream. Yup. So. That's right. The next day after school. Yeah, we needed to stop fighting with Haruka, aka Ayumu. We were having a horrible fight with him previously, and now we're like, okay, we should be adults and you know, apologize-ish. Not that we did anything wrong. Yeah, let's just talk to him and come to a conclusion. Or, you know, an agreement. God. The next day after school, I waited outside the student council room for Ayumu. There was a chance other student council members could come along, but I thought it best to wait here if I wanted to catch Ayumu alone. Oh, there he is. Yeah, don't sound like that, sir. His irritation was palpable, but because other students were around, he fixed a placid expression on his face. Ayumu ushered me into the student council room. Yeah. I saw that there was no one else inside. His voice actor is like really close to the mic. They really needed to tell him to not be that close, but he did it anyway.
今日はこれからミーティングがある。じきに生徒会役員が集まってくるから、要件があるなら手短にどうぞ。
Sir, please. I didn't plan to stick around as long as we could. Work things out. I immediately drew something from my bag. Here.
お弁当。昨日のか。
Yes. You remembered. It was delicious.
感想を言えと言ったのを真に受けてきたなら、君は案外素直なんだな。
I'm always honest. Anyway, that's what I thought.
それもそうだったね。
It looked like a smile was playing on Ayuma's lips, so I thought we might be able to talk things out. I washed the lunchbox. Be sure to return it to the girl who gave it to you.
わざわざどうも。それじゃあ、あの子がまだ校内にいるかもしれないから、今のうちに返してくるよ。急げば生徒会のミーティングにも間に合うしね。君の要件はこれで終わりだろ？
Just about. I still have something else to say. You can hate me all you want, but don't do this to the other girls. Yeah, start a vlog reviewing Bento. That'd be great. If you didn't want the lunch, it would have been much better for you to just refuse.
君に説教される筋合いはない。だいたい、どうしてここまで僕に構うんだ。
Ayumu seemed more exasperated than angry. I knew I was prying, but I couldn't stop now. It's because I want us to find a compromise. Ayumu, you're Haruka. I don't want to keep butting heads with you. But I don't understand how you can do such awful things. I don't think we can reach a compromise as long as I don't understand.
別に君から歩み寄ってもらう必要なんてないよ。
Well, no, I think that's actually kind of imperative.
それなら僕のことを理解する必要もないだろう。任務のために和解したいだけだと言うなら、君が律に近づかなければいい。そうしてくれれば、僕も君に攻撃したり、嫌味を言ったりしなくて済む。
Why don't we just hit him where it hurts and say, okay, but I'll tell Ritsu that's what happened? I can't do that. I want to be friends with Rizzy.
君は本当にずうずうしいな。
We literally have the linchpin here. We have the linchpin that we can hold right over his fucking head. Now he looked angry. Ayumu backed me up against the door. Whoa, sir.
自分の意見は曲げないくせに、人に自分の要求だけを飲ませられると思うなよ。
I will tell you. I will keep note that you redeemed your toe bean stamp. I need to write it down. Automyaton's broken right now. Automyaton's broken right now. So, Bean. Let's put in. No, I didn't break it. It's having a moment. It's having a moment. I tried to open Mix It Up. It tried to connect to Stream Elements. I was like, yeah, absolutely. I thought you were already connected. And then it crashed. And I tried it again. And it did the same thing. It said, hey, I want to connect to Stream Elements. I said, okay. And then it crashed again. So, I may try to open it in like 20 minutes. I did have a thunderstorm come through, but I don't think that would mess up Mix It Up. Yeah, it's that time of the Autumnal month.
君が意見を変えないなら、話はこれで終わりだ。
It was definitely being harsh, but I could see he wasn't entirely wrong. I probably should concede something. Yeah. Yeah, one of my friends had a tornado that came through. And they've been out of power for a while. Fine, if you're going to be so insistent, then I'll try not to go near Rizzy. Just don't make her sad, okay?
リツが悲しむ？どうしてそういう話になるんだ？
Yeah, she's really sad.
リツの名前を出せば、僕が言うことを聞くとでも思っているのか？
Game Prince, we literally have the linchpin. Ritz is your weak spot. Okay, apparently that was not the right
リツの
answer.
名前を出す。
That's not what I meant. I hope so. You said you don't care if others hate you, and you seem to think you could hide that from Rizzy. But it'll come out eventually.
そんなヘマはしない。君がリツに告げ口す
Why
る
the
と
fuck
いう
does
なら
he come
別だ
out
けれ
with
どね。
that? We could have had the upper hand, Game Prince. I would never do anything that would purposely hurt her. But she pays attention to you, you know. She'd be able to tell if she saw how you interact with other people. And of course, she'd be sad if she found out. She loves you. I came here today for two reasons. One was to try and find a compromise with you. The other was to try to get you to be nicer to others for Rizzy's sake. That's all I wanted to say. I like Rizzy a lot, you see. I'd said everything I had to say. Okay, sleep well, Pudding. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, he does literally have... Oh my god, Wolf. This is the Madoka Magica Otome. Seriously, we killed our best friend. That happened last stream. And this game started out with the protagonist saying, what is right? What is wrong? Do we even know? Do they even exist? Shut up! Our protagonist also swings between extremely Genki and extremely fucking depressed. She's an orphan. She only communicates with the only living relative she has is her uncle, who does not live close by. Her only way of communicating with him is email, and and I'm pretty certain our uncle might not be a good guy. It was up to Ayumu now. I believed he'd understand, so long as he truly cared about Rizzy more than himself.
わかった。
After a long silence, Ayumu sighed and finally agreed, which gave me some relief. Also, this guy, I kind of like him, but I also kind of want to wring his fucking neck, so...
君の言う通りかもしれない。
It was that fucking easy?
確かにリツは賢い子だから、僕の取り繕った姿にも、いつか気がつく時が来るだろう。
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. All the monsters that we fight, they used to be human.
その時リツが悲しむかはわからないけれど、
She turned into a monster.
少しでもその可能性があるなら、それは僕の本意ではないからね。
If a human gets attacked by a monster, they turn into a monster. And attacked and injured. So you'll be nicer to everyone? You'll refuse any gifts you don't want, right?
前処してみるよ。
Yeah, she stuffed too many muffins. She had too much muffin stuff in time. Damn. Great, then I'll hold up my end of the bargain too. I'll stay away from Rizzy. Aw, but that's not what we wanted. Though I'd already made that promise myself, it was painful to say out loud, but I figured this would be worth it if it solved our issues.
どうしてそこまでリツのことを考えてくれるんだ。
Hello. Okay, I gotta add you to the list.
親しくなったのはここ最近だろ。
Okay, Helena also got a bean stamp. Hello, Helena. Automaton is broken tonight. Let me see if I can put a... No, there is not. Nope. I'm gonna have to stamp people's cards manually. The things I do for y'all. Why was this so easy to get him to realize now? No, not that big. Not that big. There we go, that's fine. Automaton is broken tonight. Yeah, it's a new Twitch thing. They upgraded the mature content blanket warning into like specific warnings, so yeah. So, I had to, yeah. He was apparently curious as to why I cared about Rizzy so much. I was all alone when my best friend died. Remember that, fucker? Every single day felt painful, and then I met Rizzy. It made me so happy that she said she wanted to be friends with me. That's why I care about her.
親友。
Yeah!
そうか。
Remember that?
そうだったね。
The one I killed? It looked like Ayumu realized something once I'd explained the situation. I wasn't trying to get any sympathy from him, I only spoke the truth. Yeah, uh-huh, you were there! You helped me. Or you didn't help me, but you were there. Anyway, I'm glad you understand. Don't worry, I'll tell Rizzy I can't see her anymore. I headed towards the door before I could second guess my decision. Then Ayumu tentatively spoke up.
いいよ。リツと会っても。
Sir! What?
そうだね。確かに君の言うことも一理ある。
Yeah, really, I don't really need your permission, sir. The only reason I was you know, the only reason I was kind of looking for it is because you were literally attacking me. You were literally attacking me.
言った通り、リツは賢い子だ。だったら、僕と君の間にあった出来事も、いつか知ってしまうのかもしれない。
I forgot to turn the lights on in my living room. I wouldn't say it's really Doki Doki Literature Club, because that game is like cutesy and then it gets fucked. This game started out a little fucked, and then it was cutesy, and then it went fucked. So I'd say it's a little more Madoka Magica. But yes, and Reverse Hera.
それなら、君と会うことを禁じるのは良くないような気がしてきたよ。
Uh-huh.
君がここまでリツのことを思っているなら、きっと、
Yeah.
リツも同じように君のことが好きだろうから。
Yeah, this game, it's a little fucked up. Yeah, and we were depressed before our best friend died. Though our best friend dying by our hand, may I add, did not help with the said depression. I felt like he was showing me some consideration by saying that, but Ritsu's feelings were the most important thing to him. He prioritized her above all else. Ayumu, you really do love Rizzy, huh?
大切に決まっている。
Yep, understood.
あの子がいなければ、生きている意味なんて
The
ないんだ。
death flags are fucking blinding on this character. Rizzy is going to die. I felt like he was saying that more to himself than to me. Why do you say that? The seriousness of his tone worried me, but Ayumu quickly resumed his calm exterior. He's He's on the fence. He's really protective of her. In the fact that he literally threatened all of her friends.
なんでもない。それよりもういいだろう。
Yeah.
いい加減誰か来る。
He could be the one. He said that while opening the door, and then he practically pushed me out of the room. What did he mean? I was all alone in the hallway, but I couldn't bring myself to leave just yet. He looked so grave at the end of our conversation. They're localized. And I follow IF Systems and Access Games and all that stuff. I'd never seen with an expression like that before. It made me all the more worried. He probably wouldn't like it if I pried. I managed to strike a compromise with Ayumu, but now I was concerned about him, and I had the feeling I'd end up worrying a whole lot more. Oh, well, Wolf. Okay, well, be glad that I'm not playing Brothers Conflict on stream. I don't think you can. No, it's not on the banned games, but it is a weird one. Yeah, seriously. Speaking of boys, I think I've shown off on stream the brother art. Brother art. Brother art! This is one of 3 things. The artist is so sweet. Koben sensei, arigatou gozaimashita. They actually followed me on Twitter. I was in shock. They liked all of my tweets about the art, and then they quote retweeted my tweet with the art and like put like sparkle emojis and happy face emojis, and then followed me back. And I was like, ha! Ah! Oh, this game is not that bad. I mean, compared to like Diabolic Lovers, this game is like milk toast. But yeah, look at my brothers. So that's the 2 of them together, and then oh god, the visual novel rabbit hole goes way fucking deeper. Then we have just Big Brother Alford. Here he is. That's my brother. That's my brother. And then we have Remorat, which Phantom is gonna want me to bring up on stream probably if he swings by. Yeah! And there's still 4 members of my family that I don't have art for other than, like, my own drawings. Yeah. So, closer up on Remorat's face, because I got one for Alford, but not Remorat. But yeah! I can't still bonk chat. Bonk! It just doesn't work as well. Ah! And I can bonk me too! So you guys can do the bonks, it just won't have the sound effect and I'll have to manually do it. Which isn't as fun, but... One night, the commander summoned us to the command center and gave an unusual order. 外周が出たわけじゃないんですの? Yeah, bonk! No vectors.
上層部から命令が来てね。
Oh, outside data.
最近外周の動きが活発になってきているから、シータの外で様子を探ってきてほしいんだ。
Oh, I don't like that.
調子のええ連中やな。セナの余地を信じへんで、外獣の襲撃を許したくせに。今さらそんなこと言うんや。
Seriously, I wish they would have been more proactive back then. The commander looked dispirited when we started complaining.
そう言われてしまうと耳が痛いね。ただあれがきっかけになって対応が変わったとも言えるんだよ。
Also, listen. Does that get picked up by the mic? It does. That's what 30 ounces of citric acid, sounds like. It's yummy. Bonk bonk as it slams against my desk. Table
わ
mine.
かってる。私たちだってあの時のことを無駄にはしない。みんなもそのつもりだよね。
Yeah? Well, it's for making sour candy sour? No, it's powder. Or it's crystals. It's not powder, it's crystals. I don't know how well that would go, but I can make sour candy that is sadly not very sour, way more sour. You can also have it raw, or just like straight. But I've done that a couple times now. I've just put my finger in it, gotten a little on my fingertip, and then licked it. You have to be careful with that, because if it's too much, my jaw hurt. Like a pixie stick. No, I think that would make, that would make me gag. When I asked about, oh wait. We all learned from that experience we agreed on, yes. Of course, we won't let any more innocent people get hurt. That's why we're doing this investigation, right? When I asked about the purpose for the investigation, the commander was visibly relieved.
その通りだよ。害獣にあったらもちろん倒してもらいたいけれど、シータの外にいる害獣には未知なところもある。
So like if the sour jelly beans that Zedwum got me, if they're not very sour, I can make them sour.
中に侵入してくる奴らよりも凶暴なものがいるかもしれないし、そのあたりは見極めて無理はしないで。
Our first time going outside.
了解。でもシータの外ってずいぶん広いと思うんだけど、調査範囲はどのくらい？
Yeah. Upon hearing Haruka's question, the commander showed us a map of Theta and pointed to one specific area.
シータの外周部分だけで構わないそうだ。具体的にはこの辺りまで。
Yeah.
外周だけと言ってもずいぶんありますわね。
It's like a
一晩で調査できるものとは思えませんわ。
だからまずは可能な範囲でかな。 とりあえず手分けして調査することにして、この間みたいに2つのチームに分けようか。うまく連携できてたみたいだし、組み合わせは前と同じにしよう。
Your teamwork's getting better, Kuramori says as Haruka and I spent the entirety of the last fight fighting each other. I wasn't the only one who reacted to that particular statement. Better?
何を見てたの？
Yeah, did you not see us, like, actually just catfighting? Haruka and I expressed our doubts at what the commander said. But then I remembered Ayumu's expression at the end of a conversation and thought this would be a good opportunity for us to work together. Alright, Haruka, let's go.
ちょっと。
We're off! I grabbed Haruka's hand despite her confusion and took her outside. I actually haven't seen Yuki Yuno Wants to Be a Hero. I'd actually say this is probably... I'm gonna keep bringing up Samurai Flamenco because I love Samurai Flamenco. But yeah, I think this is gonna be... This is kind of like Samurai Flamenco plus Meguca. In that it's not just like superheroes.
どういうつもり？
Once we gotten outside Theta, Haruka stopped and turned to me with a bewildered expression on her face. Yeah. What? They told us to team up, so here we are.
そうじゃなくて、君は僕と組むのが嫌じゃないの？
The only edgy magical girl anime post Meguca that I've heard a lot about was Magical Girl Raising Project, but I also heard that that one was literally just torture porn, so I didn't watch it. She had started speaking more like Ayumu once I found out who she really was, and it was much easier to talk with her this way. It's not bad at all. I always wanted to talk with you more.
この間、そんな風に感じるような雰囲気じゃなかったと思うんだけど。
Interesting.
どういう風の吹き回し？
To be honest, there are a lot of things I don't know about you, Ayumu. That's the other one. Yeah, Magical Girl Sight and Magical Girl Raising Project were both ones that I heard of, like, yeah, these are the edgy post-Meguca, and both of them were just torture porn from what I'd heard.
だったら。
But that's all the more reason I want to get to know and understand you. We've already gotten to know each other some, and I'd like to be friends with both Haruka and Ayumu. Talking this through with Haruka helped me understand my own motivations. Cool, we're just flying blind.
こっちこそ君のことが理解できないんだけど、この間まであんなに喧嘩してたのに。
I was lying. Yeah, that's true, but I'm worried about you, Ayumu. You looked so serious when you were talking about Rizzy earlier. Haruka neither agreed with nor denied what I said. I decided to suggest something. Would it make you feel better to talk about whatever's on your mind? I'm happy to listen.
余計なお世話だよ。それに話したいことがあればちゃんと友達に聞いてもらう。
And who are those? She rejected my idea immediately, but I was more concerned about something else. Yeah. Your friend? You mean...
Tokyo.
Tokyo.
幼馴染なんだ。
He doesn't really seem like someone you could talk about your problems with, to be honest. Haruka's expression grew softer when she mentioned Tokyo, so I took the opportunity to ask her something I normally wouldn't. I've been wondering, are the other Bloom's members boys too?
この流れでそんなことを聞いてくるなら答えるけど、
No, they really didn't seem
君の
that
予想通りだ
close.
から。香りがTokyoだよ。
I knew it. I'd had my suspicions, but hearing Haruka confirm it was all the more shocking. Finally, we get the identity reveal of everyone else. So Senna and Mocha too? Naturally, I was curious about the other two, but Haruka shook her head.
Tokyo は本人がいいって言ったから教えたけれど、他の二人は僕の口から言うわけにはいかない。
Well, I'm glad Tokyo's chill.
これ以上は機密事項だから教えないよ。それにいい加減、調査を始めよう。
Our school life seems to consist literally of Rizzy and Ayumu. Oh, this entire game is like the best of gender fluid. Yeah. Well, everyone knows our identity because we fucking introduced ourselves. All right, let's go. The investigation would never end if we kept chatting after all. I made sure to remain alert as I walked with Haruka. Oh. We scanned the area for traces of the vectors in silence, but I kept thinking about our earlier discussion. I guess I'm not someone that Haruka, or rather Ayumu, would want to talk to. Nothing I could do about that. Like she said, we were fighting just a while earlier, so she wouldn't talk to me about her problems. No, not really. I mean, we're not allowed to tell anybody outside the group, but we were never stopped when we literally walked up to people and were like, "Hi, I'm Prince last name." I think it's Takanashi. I shook my head in an attempt to clear my mind, but at that moment I caught sight of something out the corner of my eye.
見て。
Haruka had apparently noticed the same thing, and she pointed towards where I was looking. Vectors and Hyuga. I tensed up. We hadn't anticipated running into them. Hyuga was traveling with a horde of vectors, and it was obvious they were about to attack Theta. It seemed Hyuga caught sight of us as well. He slowly walked towards us. Oh, well, if you'll love this, this is one of the bad guys. His weapon is gun. His weapon is just a gun. And his hands hung by his side, but I could see one was clasping a gun.
害獣の数が多すぎる。あっちは戦うつもりみたいだし、引くのは無理か。
Let's contact Cody and the others. Being outnumbered was a major disadvantage, but we couldn't avoid a fight, so I rushed to call for backup. Cody! Hyuga's here, and he brought a ton of vectors.
ごめん、こっちも交戦中。できるだけ早く片付けるから、なんとか持ちこたえて。
Whoops. Cody's voice was tight. It was obvious that her group had encountered the enemy too and wasn't in a good situation.
仕方ないね。二人でなんとかしよう。
Yep. Yeah, Hyuga wields the power of gun. Also, his voice actor's name is something like Arthur? Okay, well, it's not all melee weapons. In fact, we actually don't have weapons, we just have magical powers, which aren't really magical powers, they're like telekinesis. Haruka has fire. We all have telekinesis. Haruka has fire, and I have augment. I can increase the power of everyone else. Oh, hey, we're 3-1. Nice! 50-50! Right, we can do this. We just decided to fight on our own when another voice called out and caused our spirits to sink even lower.
なんだ、たった二人？遊びがいがないな。
Ah, it's Yukinami. Yes. Yukinami? This was no longer a matter of simply being at a disadvantage. At this rate, we'd have difficulty just trying to get away.
こうなったら最初から全力で行くしかないね。
He's just really fucking fast. He's really fast, and I think he has brass knuckles. That means she's planning to use flame dust. Understanding exactly what she intended to do, I just attack them like an idiot, or power her up. Power her up. I'll cast Augment then. That'll be the best way to stop the vectors. Yeah.
頼む。
After a short exchange, I held Haneka's hand and cast Augment, imagining that I was charging her with my energy.
君は少し離れたところにいて。
Yeah.
ヒューガと雪波を仕留められるとは思えないから。
I'm gonna bet
二人の動きに注意しててほしい。
I'm gonna bet you that there's an end where that because I think there's 3 ends if I'm reading this flowchart correctly. I don't know why it says 8%. I think that's just 8% totally. Oh, sorry, Wolf. I didn't read it. I forgot to read it. Oh, but there's 3 endings here, so I'm gonna bet you that one of them is we didn't use our powers at all. One of them is we used our powers but have no affection, and then the one where we have both. That's my guess. Also, I have no idea how long these actual individual routes are. I doubt this will take out... Watch out for them. Got it! We put our plan into action, but the situation still wasn't looking good.
どこ狙ってやがる。
よそ見してると危ないんじゃない？ほら、僕はこっちだよっと。
Well, okay, so I think when we finish a route, here's what I think we might be able to do. I think it'll let us start from an area. So like it did with Birushana. Devil horns. He's an Oni. So like Birushana, when I would go back to an area on the spreadsheet and it would on the flowchart and it would say, you know, do you want high on these or low on these? I think it'll let us choose our stats more or less. I tried to draw Hyuga and Yukinami's attention so Haruka could find an opening and attack, but Yukinami was too fast and I lost sight of him. Hyuga went after me while Yukinami chased after Haruka. We got caught in the cycle again and again. Even so, the number of vectors is dwindling. It's a battle of attrition at this rate. Yeah, we were interrupted every time we tried to make a wide-range attack, so that forced us to focus on defense. The battle dragged on like this. We'd get worn down for sure if things continued as they were.
拉致が開かない。もう少し力を出さないと。
Haruka gasped for breath. Yeah. Haruka gasped for breath as she evaded one of Yukinami's attacks and moved to stand next to me again. What are you trying to do?
この辺りを燃やし尽くす。
Whoa!
あいつら全部まとめて倒すよ。
Wait, Ayumu, we literally got told that we should not overuse our powers. All of them? The enemy had been wary of Haruka's flame dust, so they'd spread themselves out to avoid all of them getting hit at once. If the goal was to strike every vector, then Haruka would have to unleash an attack with an especially wide radius. But you've never targeted such a large area before. Are you sure you could do it?
できなくてもやる。
Haruka drew a deep breath and tried to focus, but I could see that her legs were shaking. She's used too much of her power. I have to do something. Oh god. Oh god, quick save here. I don't know why I went to the flowchart. Oh god. Leave it to me! No, that's... not it? Don't push yourself? Okay. Don't push yourself. Don't push yourself like this. I went and held Haruka up as she was about to fall.
ここで無理しないでどうするの？君も力を貸して。
I couldn't let Haruka keep using up all of her strength, but we needed her powers to get out of the situation. We need to end this right now, and to do that... Alright, I'll cast Augment then. Haruka's determination motivated me. I gently touched her arm and concentrated. Okay, you got it?
いけそうだよ。
Yeah, we'll both push you together.
もしかして動けなくなっちゃったの？なら僕がとどめよう。
雪並み引け、例の炎が来るぞ。
Hyuga noticed what was happening and shouted right as Haruka held out her hand.
燃えて。
うわっ。
Hyuga and Yukinami managed to jump behind a building for cover right before the flames reached them. The blaze rushed forward, swallowing every last specter in the area. Haruka, you did it! But as the flames continued to spread, we realized they would soon engulf us too. Did we not think about that? I called out to Haruka and saw how desperate she looked. Haruka, we'll be caught in it at this rate.
わかってる。
Ah.
でも制御が効かない。
力の加減もできないのか。
Nope, she's not.
これ以上の長居は無用だ。行くぞ、雪並み。
僕がとどめを刺したかったのに。
Yeah.
あいつらならほっといても自滅する。無駄な労力を使うなとモラビアも言ってただろ。
はいはい、わかりました。
After that, Hyuga and Yukinami leapt onto a tall building and vanished. I was loath to admit it, but Hyuga was right. The fire would take us out if we stayed here. I was thankful they'd gone, so I could focus on getting us out of this predicament. Haruka! Snap out of it! Haruka was sitting on the ground in pain, so I helped her up. Her brow was coated in sweat, not just because of the heat from the fire. I could see she was desperately trying to control her powers. And you stand? We have to get out of here. I used too much of my powers during battle and could feel fatigue setting in.
ここに置いていって。
What?
一人で逃げて。
Mm-mm. I can't do that. If I leave you, you'll burn to death. I objected to her ridiculous idea. Haruka then grabbed onto my arm.
それでもいい。
What?
その代わり。
Uh-huh.
僕が死んだら遺体は両親に引き渡して。
What?
焼け死んだとしても骨が DNA さえあればそれで取引できるはずだから。
I don't think so. No, it's not. It's not. But also look at our hilarious clown outfit. Even if I burn, my DNA can be extracted by my bones. I only understood about half of what she was saying. What are you talking about? What deal?
取引しないと律を守れない。僕がブルームズにいる限りは両親は律には手を出さないけど死んだら最悪死んだとしても遺体を研究材料にできればきっと満足するはず。
Haruka's eyes were unfocused and she didn't seem to understand her own words. This is bad. If she loses consciousness, she'll really die. I can't let that happen. I guess she might be. She might be able to become one. I could find out what Haruka was talking about after we got out of here alive. I could feel that I was on the brink of passing out, so I slapped her! Don't say that! We have to get out of here!
でも僕が死んでも
Haruka, you dolt! Dolt? Dolt? What? That's a weird word to use. Dolt seems very British. yeah, that's how we kept ourselves awake. Yeah. I could feel that I was on the brink of passing out, so I slapped Haruka's cheek. I'll say you're gonna die like it's nothing. Haruka still looked reluctant, so I slapped her again! Honestly, I don't know. No, you read that correct. I'll slap you again, motherfucker! Get up! The pain must have snapped her out of it. Seeing the life return to her eyes, I gathered up what was left of my strength. I'm gonna help you. Get up! Haruka leaned on me as we stood up, and I used the last bit of my psychokinesis to jump as high as I could. We go just a bit further! We landed on top of a tall building and moved far enough away from the flames before heading back down to the ground. Luckily, we weren't that far from the entrance to the colony, so we managed to make it back. Well, we did have some unresolved aggression. We entered Theta and walked a short distance before I plopped on the ground, my energy completely depleted. My transformation came undone as well. Oh, my transformation's gone. Really glad I made it back first.
ごめん。
Haruka also sat on the ground, but she was still transformed. She used more of her powers. Haruka must be that good. Must just be that good. Hey! First time we get to see him transform. De-transform. We sat together for a while, and soon Haruka's transformation came undone too, leaving Ayumu sitting next to me. After that, Ayumu gestured to his wrist as if he was worried about it. Looking close, I saw he was actually touching the bracelet he wore, which resembled prayer beads. Is that Ayumu's charm?
力を使いすぎたな。
Did you say something? I thought I'd heard him mumble something, but Ayumu just shook his head.
なんでもない。気にしないでくれ。
I actually haven't seen God Eater, so I have no idea. He looked away after saying that, but then he turned back toward me as if he had remembered something.
一つ、君に言いたいことがあるんだ。
What's that?
さっき言ったことは忘れてくれないか？
Nope! Earlier? Oh. I knew immediately what he meant, but there was no way I could forget. Ayumu stared at the ground awkwardly. I felt like I had to clarify a few things at least. I won't force you to talk about it, but I just can't let it be after hearing all that. Something about a deal and research. Just who are your parents?
やっぱり君は聞いてくるんだね。
I'm dumb, not deaf.
こういう時に放っておいてくれる人間ではないと思っていたけれど、想像通りすぎてため息が出る。
House. You always have to go back to the insults, don't ya? Ayumu was sarcastic as usual, but I could sense an underlying sadness and fatigue in his voice.
長くなるし、聞いても面白い話じゃないよ。それでも君は聞きたいの？
Yes, I do. I want to know exactly what burden you're shouldering. After hearing what you said, I can tell it's a sad situation. That's what I want to know. If that's what's making you upset, I want to help.
悲しいか。
That would be weird. That would be weird. Actually, I have to turn on another light, so I'll be right back. It's very dark. I'm very glad I did not accidentally turn on the incinerator, because I've done that like 3 times in the past couple days now, where I meant to turn on the light or turn off the light, and instead I just turned on the incinerator. Scared the shit out of myself.
今はもう何も感じていないよ。僕にとっては、ずいぶん前からこれが現実で、受け入れてきた環境だからね。
I'm pretty certain our uncle has white hair, which means he could be related to the fucker who asked me the riddle on the roof of the school. Ayumu then began to explain his background to me. I'm glad we're actually doing this.
僕の両親は、2人とも研究エリアの中でエリートとされる存在だった。研究のために一生を捧げているような人たちで、優先順位の一番は研究に関すること。そんな2人が結婚して子供を持ったことに驚く人もいたらしい。研究以外に興味がないどころか、自分以外の人間にも興味がないんじゃないかと思われていたからね。でも2人は子供の誕生、つまり僕が生まれたことをとても喜んでいた。それも周囲の人たちからしたらとても意外な光景だったらしいけれど、僕にとっても両親という存在はよく理解できないものだった。僕の記憶の中にある両親の姿はいつも背中を見せていたからね。どういう顔なのか曖昧になる時もあったほど、面と向かって話すことも少なかった。だから僕には分からなかったんだ。周りから僕の誕生を喜んでいたという話を聞いても、 自分の知っている両親とうまく結びつかない。喜びとは何だろう。子供と親の関係とはこういうものなのだろうかとぼんやりと疑問に思っていた。
I guess. But if you're asking what a real family is like, Ayumu, I'm really sorry. Both of our parents are dead.
狭い世間しか知らなかった僕はしばらくの間その答えが出ないまま過ごすことになったんだ。
Yeah, but I've never seen him. When you say narrow, you're not just talking about living in Theta, right?
そう、もっと狭い世界だ。シータどころか研究エリアから外に出ることがほぼなかったという意味だよ。僕は生まれてから学園で学ぶような年齢になるまでずっと研究エリアの中しか知らなかったんだ。
Goodness.
幼い頃の記憶にあるのは研究室の無機質な壁と時々そこに混じる薬品の匂い、それから時を気がついた時にはいつもそばにいた。初めは話したりはしなかったけれどね。
I think they were overjoyed because now they had a test subject.
あいつの両親も研究者だったからここにいるんだろう。最初はそれくらいにしか思っていなかったんだ。けれどすぐに時雄も自分と同じようにサイコキネシスの素養があることと、その訓練をするために僕と一緒にいることを知った。二人でサイコキネシスの訓練をしたり訓練のデータを研究者たちに取られているうちに僕は自分たちには役割があるのだと理解。周りの研究者たちが仕事をしているのと同じでこれが僕たちの仕事なのだと。僕たちは仕事のためにここにいるのだと分かったんだ。その気づきは別に嫌じゃなかった。自分たちにしかできないことをしているのだと思ったら誇らしくもあったんだ。でも時雄と一緒にいると別のことが気になりだした。時雄のところには時々あいつの親が会いに来た。どんな風に過ごしているかを尋ねたり体調の心配をしたり頭を撫でることもあったな。
Oh, poor Ayumu. I can pat your head, sweetheart. Head pats, yeah, head pats.
対して僕の両親はめったに顔を見せなかった。見せたとしてもガラス越しで僕の様子はデータを取っている研究者に聞いていた。そこで初めて僕は不安になったんだ。時雄という対比する相手ができたことで気がつくことができた。
Yeah, as a kid, all you know is your reality, and then you see other people's, and you're like, wait, what?
僕の両親は時雄の両親とは違う。
Yeah.
そしてそれは嫌な違いな気がすると胸がざわつき始めた。子供と親の関係に疑問を持っていた自分に最悪の形で答えが出ようとしていることを予感し始めていたんだ。
So you were with Tokyo the whole time. Were both of you born with your powers?
そうだよ。そのことがこの後の話にも関係があるんだ。
The conclusion you mentioned.
ああ。それが分かったのは、
But it is nighttime.
リツが生まれたことがきっかけだったよ。
We just came back from like nearly risking our lives. I think we're both very tired. We didn't want to move. Busy?
後で知ったことだけれど、僕が4歳を迎える頃には、僕と時雄の初期データはあらかた取り終わっていたらしい。ここからサイコキネシスの素養がどう伸びていくかは、僕たちの努力次第という段階に入っていたんだ。でもまさか、それがリツの誕生と関係しているだなんて、幼い僕には思いもよらないことだった。
How does that have anything to do with Ritsu's birth?
ある日、研究者の一人が僕の両親の間に新しい子供ができたと教えてくれたんだ。
I guess. How fucking wild is it to be told by somebody else that you're gonna have a sibling, not your parents?
僕の妹になると聞いてもいまいちピンとこなかった。時雄にも兄弟はいなかったから二人して妹とはどういうものか知識だけ集めていろいろと想像してみたよ。
No wonder he turned out fucked up.
知識だけで言えばなんとなく分かったのは自分たちよりも小さくて弱い存在だろうということだけだった。でも自分たち以外の子供が新しく増えるというのは、今まで2人でしかできなかったことが3人でできるのかもしれない。
Back to magical boy ore or magical girl ore. I don't remember if it's boy or girl. I think it's boy. Maho shonen ore, I believe.
どんな風に迎え入れようかと。
Well,
あの頃はそんな話ばかりしていた気がするな。
You're not gonna be able to play immediately with a baby. Ayumu smiled as he reminisced. I could imagine little Ayumu in Tokyo eagerly awaiting Rizzy's birth and made me smile too. It sounds like you and Tokyo are pretty adorable. I wish I could have known you then. I thought he'd get angry when I said that, but Ayumu just nodded.
確かにあの頃の僕は今よりも好奇心旺盛で友達と呼べる存在のことも求めていた。両親がそばにいない分余計にそうだったのかもしれない。だからこそ律が自分たちの仲間になるのも楽しみで仕方がなかったんだけれど、あの頃が一番幸せだったのかもね。何も知らずただ時雄と二人で遊びのような訓練をするだけだったから。
Ayumu's smile didn't waver as he spoke, but for some reason I sensed a hint of sadness behind his expression. So what ruined that happiness?
現実を知っただけだよ。幸せだと感じていたものは無知がゆえに見ていた。それからしばらくしてついに僕は律が生まれたという連絡を受けた。研究者に連れられて久しぶりに両親のもとへ自分から会いに行ったんだ。久しぶりに見る両親は相変わらず背中を向けていて僕の顔を見なかった。けれど僕は傍らにいる小さな存在に目を奪われて、そんなことは気にならなかったんだ。律はまだ目も開いていないくらいだったけれど僕が手を差し伸べると小さな指を動かした。
Aren't human babies usually born with their eyes pretty open? Or they open them pretty fast?
実際に会ってみた妹は得ていた知識よりもずっと弱々しい生き物に思えたよ。同じ子供でも僕とも時雄とも全然違う。初めて見る赤ん坊に僕はすっかり夢中になっていたんだ。
I'm gonna infect you all with this. Possibly. I'm gonna infect you all with this that I can no longer unsee. I know this is supposed to be, I know this picture is supposed to be her with her mouth kind of open, like, oh, but all I can see is she has a very very prominent stash. A very prominent mustache. That's all I can see. Yeah, it's a tiny mustache. That's all I can see.
でも僕が律に夢中になっていると不意に誰かに腕をつかまれて見上げるとそれは僕の父親だった。今でも忘れない。あの時父は母に向かってこう言ったんだ。データを取ろう。そして母はこう答えた。どちらがより適性があるのか見極めないと。と。
Switching from a baby to switching to a picture of Ayumu using his fire powers is a little odd.
その時の二人は僕のことも律のことも見ていなかった。ただお互いの顔を見て話をして僕のことを連れてきた研究者に機材の準備を指示していただけだった。
What data?
つまり 僕も律も両親にとっては研究材料の一つに過ぎなかったということだよ。
I'd expected him to say something like that given what he told me, but hearing him say those words was still shocking. Is that really true?
僕は生まれる前に遺伝子操作を受けている。特別な能力を持つようにね。
Well, that's a bomb to drop, sir.
それが僕の両親の研究だったから。
Oh!
特別な人間を生み出し、それがどう成長していくのか、データを取っていく。研究対象が自分たちの子供であれば、研究も容易になると考えた二人の利害が一致した結果、僕と律が生まれたんだ。
I was not expecting that. What do you mean they manipulated your genes? They basically gave you the powers you have now?
厳密に言うと、それは本当の目的の副産物みたいなものだよ。
Huh?
まあ、それはこの話の本題じゃない。
I have no idea.
君には関係のないことだ。
I didn't think that was strictly true, given that I had similar powers. But there was nothing more important. There was something more important taking my attention. Why would a parent do that to their own children?
だから、僕たちは親子であって、親子ではないんだよ。
Yikes.
研究者と研究対象者という関係性なだけだ。初めから、情の通った親子関係なんて存在しなかったんだ。
Yikes.
もっと言うなら、二人は夫婦ですらない。利害が一致しただけの同志のようなものだ。だからその間にできた子供に対しても、愛情なんてものがあるはずもなかったんだよ。
Ayumu explained all this without any emotion. As he said earlier, he wasn't sad or upset. It was as if he felt nothing. He might feel that way, but I can't accept it so easily. How did Ayumu react when he was a child?
僕は無知だったけれど、バカではなかったからね。両親の様子を見て、瞬時に自分と律が置かれた状況を悟ったよ。
Right away? Wasn't that painful?
予感はあったと言っただろう。だから、あの時の感情に一番近い言葉は、腑に落ちた、かな。ああ、これが答えだったんだと思っただけだよ。それに僕には、自分のことを嘆いている暇はなかったんだ。目の前に律がいたからね。
Yeah.
僕には律が真っ白に見えた。無垢で、何も知らず、何にも怪我されていない純粋そのものの存在だ。
Sweetheart, that is not the most healthy mindset.
この子がいつか僕と同じように両親と自分の関係性を知ったらどうなるんだろう。そう思ったら胸の中に何とも言えない感情が生まれたんだ。多分自分と同じ立場だけれどまだ無垢な存在のこの子を守りたいと思ったんだと思う。だから僕は両親に取引を持ちかけることにした。
Yeah. But like the whole like I'll protect her innocence, that usually gets into a little bit of a sticky situation. That was what Haruka talked about when she was going in and out of consciousness. Oh, a deal.
自分には何をしても構わない。その代わり律には絶対に手を出さないでほしい。もちろん4歳の子供が言う言葉なんて初めはまともに取り合うことすらしてもらえなかった。だから僕は行動で示すことにしたんだ。両親が行うテストには全て優秀な成績でパスをしたし、サイコキネシスの能力も今まで以上に伸ばせるように努力した。
Also just kind of fucking sad. Take care of your kids.
そうしているうちに
Don't printify them.
両親の僕を見る目が変わってきたんだよ。
So they ended up accepting your deal?
ああ、そうだ。僕がこの先ずっと研究材料として逸材であることを証明し続ければ取引に応じると言ってきた。多分そういえば僕が律のためにもっと能力を発揮するかもしれないという。
It's like they're holding Rizzy hostage.
その通りだよ。でも、僕にとっては別に苦じゃなかった。
I would have thought you'd be more angry about this.
むしろ、律が現れてから初めて、僕は自分自身の存在価値を見出せるようになったとも言える。自分が何のために努力をして生きるのか。それが明白になった後は、何も知らなかった頃と比べ物にならないくらい充実していたよ。
It's just the name of our group. We're the Blooms. So, one of us is a Bloom. Don't know why.
時男と二人きりだった時に感じていた幸せとは、別の生きがいがある人生が始まったんだ。律のために生きる。それが僕の全てだ。
It was finally clear why he was so protective of Rizzy. He was putting everything on the line for her happiness. That I understood. But is that really for the best? He's living for someone other than himself. Ayumu said he'd been ignorant. He also said he learned the reality of his situation. While it was true he'd gotten a dose of reality, in my eyes it still only represented a small part of the world. The research district, his parents, and Rizzy, that narrow world decided his entire life. Ayumu, do you really feel that's all you need? Can you say with certainty that your life now is everything?
僕は僕の生き方に満足しているよ。律を守ることが僕の本望だ。
His tone was so gentle, but it saddened me for some reason. A few other emotions were bubbling up inside me too. He no longer thought of his parents as parents and had dedicated his whole life to his sister. Pure rage, filled me as I thought of the people who'd forced Ayumu into the situation. Your parents are just horrible. They didn't show you any love and now they're controlling your entire life.
親に強制されたから選んだ道じゃない。今の話を聞いていたらわかるだろう。
Yeah. I think this because I was listening. Ayumu, the fact that you could be so calm about this makes me so sad and frustrated.
どうして君が悔しいなんて言うんだ。そんな風に僕のために怒ることはないのに。
I looked at Ayumu. He sounded so troubled, and his expression seemed so kind in that moment. I'd seen his face so many times. I'd seen his public-facing smile, his cold stare, his angry expression. All were a part of him, but I think I've finally seen the real Ayumu, who he is deep down. I thought I'd wanted to know more about him, but now it felt like I was in pain, and I didn't know why. Hi, Phantom. Yeah, content warnings. Is it wrong to be so mad? Is it so wrong to be mad?
怒る必要はないよ。僕がもう納得していることなんだから。
There was a gentle sense of rejection in his voice, and I understood why I felt hurt. Hello! I wanted to help Ayumu, but he doesn't need me. Maybe that's why I feel this way. We both remained silent for a while. There wasn't any reason to say anything more, so I kept quiet, but then he finally broke the silence.
僕は
Ayumu reached out to me. I didn't know what would happen next, so I just watched as, right before his hand touched my cheek, he stopped.
みんなが来たかもしれない。
Oh? Huh? Oh, you're right. Ayumu pointed. I could see a few silhouettes running towards us, including coyotes.
もう一度変身しておいた方がいいね。できそう？
Well, it doesn't matter. They already know who I am. No, actually, he got a lot better. Yeah, I can. In the past 30 minutes, he got a lot better. I transformed as Ayumu suggested, and we waited for Coyote and the others to arrive. What was Ayumu going to do before they showed up? I wanted to know what Ayumu was going to say, but we just ended up talking with the others and heading back to the command center. Yeah, bleh, how dare you interrupt? I did slap him a few times, yeah. I'm exhausted. I flopped onto my bed once I returned to my dorm. I'd used too much of my powers and felt completely drained, but I was also more awake than ever. I didn't think I could fall asleep, so I ran through everything that happened today. Now I know what a unique upbringing Ayumu had. If I'd been in his position, I would have been so confused when I found out why I'd been born. No! He was in a daze from overusing his powers, so we slapped him a few times to wake him up. When I thought about it that way, it seemed a little odd to me that Ayumu would immediately think of Rizzy after finding out about his situation. Would it be so easy to accept it? Maybe I just don't understand. Perhaps he's avoiding his own feelings by focusing so much on Rizzy? I couldn't come to an answer no matter how much I thought about it. Ayumu might not understand either, so there was no way I could figure it out. Besides, I'm not that close with him yet. He'd practically been forced to talk about his upbringing because of what happened. It's not like he chose to open up to me. That was clear when I felt that sense of rejection from him. Yeah, our pillows do kind of look like bread, and it looks really yummy. But why did he reach his hand out to me? Was he starting to open up to me? If so, I couldn't just leave things as they were. Moreover, I don't want to just abandon him. He seems particularly vulnerable right now. His whole background was shocking, but the thing I remembered most was when Haruka collapsed, surrounded by flames. Yeah. He could have been paying us back for the slaps.
僕が死んだら、遺体は両親に引き渡して、焼け死んだとしても、骨が DNA さえあれば、それで取引できるはずだから。
I'd only understood half of what she said then. What are you talking about? What deal?
取引しないと、律を守れない。僕がブルームズにいる限りは、両親は律には手を出さないけど。
No, because he's not our boyfriend yet.
死んだら。
We're only like no longer at each other's throats.
うん。最悪、死んだとしても、遺体を研究材料にできれば。
It was like Haruka had been willing to die. I couldn't get that image out of my mind. Ayumu's parents viewed him as a research subject, but the person who thought of him that way the most was Ayumu himself. He'd been living this way since he was 4. Was it possible for him to change his thinking? Yeah, he's the supplier of our fledgling bento review project. All the bentos he won't eat from those other girls, we'll eat them and review them on our blog. I decided to speak with Ayumu again a few days later and waited for him in front of the student council room. The answer is simple, if I only consider what I want to do, no matter what Ayumu may think. Where are we? Okay, 3-2. And we are already at 62%. We did avoid the bad end, finally. I should tell him how I feel about all this, even if he rejects it. I turned when I heard footsteps and saw Ayumu walking toward me. Good morning.
また来たの？話ならこの前散々したと思うんだけど。まだ話足りないとでも言うのかな。
Irritation flashed across Ayumu's face for a brief moment, but it wasn't the same cold stare I'd experienced previously. There's something I want to say to you. I've been thinking a lot about it, and I just feel I have to tell you.
ずっと考えてたって、僕のことを？
He sounded so surprised that I realized maybe I'd said something embarrassing, but I couldn't hold back. Sino! Hello! Hello! This game is fucking wild! What the fuck is this game? This is like Meguca Magica on, like, Spun. I couldn't back down now. That's right, I couldn't help thinking about you after what happened.
本当に君は
Perhaps I'd been too direct. Meguca with goats? Well, no, there's actually a very much a lack of goats in this game. Ayumu hesitated for a moment, but soon spoke again.
入って。中で話そう。
I really hope you don't think I'm about to propose? Confess to you? Because a couple of things I said could make someone think that. Oh, yeah, true. True. No, you know, I do agree with you. It is Meguca with goats and a lot more science fuckery. It's not magical as much magical fuckery as it is science fuckery. Which is worse. Almost. Magical fuckery, that's a whole different, like... You know. You don't have to worry about magic a lot in this world. Science, however...
それで何を考えてたって言うんだ。
Ayumu, I fully understand that you've accepted your way of life and that you think nothing of your parents. And I don't really have the right to comment on that. I respect your feelings.
なら何も問題ないだろう。
Well, that's true, but after hearing about your circumstances, I'd like to tell you my thoughts. True. I do love that we're treating his backstory like a book review. Here are my thoughts. But it's up to you whether you want to hear them. Just a few days ago, Ayumu would have stopped me right there, but he didn't now.
わかった。聞くだけでいいなら聞くよ。
We're moving up in the world from being immediately shut down to he kind of listens to us. we just have the reviewer mindset. We're so used to reviewing everything that happens in our day to our uncle that we just get in that mindset. We're stuck in it. He turned to me, ready to listen. His willingness, to hear me out bolstered my courage, and I said, yeah, quick save. Oh, don't be so willing to die. Make sure you live for Rizzy. Don't be so willing to die. Please don't be so willing to die.
はるかが言ったことをまだ気にしているの。
Of course, I can't just ignore it.
何を言うかと思えば。君がそんなことにこだわる必要はないよ。
In fact, I do think it's a lot of my concern. But Ayumu didn't seem to care about himself as usual, so I tried my best to explain. I didn't used to think about death. But that's different now. Joining the Blooms has forced me to think about it all the time. Or to be more exact, I have ever since I lost Lise. When someone close to you dies, it's difficult to describe how you felt at the time. You're sad and in pain, and it's unbearable. I felt so helpless, and there was nothing I could do about it. It was like that every day.
君が苦しんでいたことは知っている。でも、君が友達の死に苦しむことと、僕が自分の死を受け入れることは全然違うよ。僕だって、律や時を失ったら、正気ではいられないと思う。
Well, we did a fair bit of depression time skip. Like, I don't know if anybody has actually read Twilight. I only read half of the first book before I had to put it down in disgust in high school. But there's one section of the only thing. Yeah. Oh God, this game is so dark. The only thing that I kind of remember that I thought was cool is that there's one section where the main character Bella is really depressed, and so for a couple chapters of the book, it says the name of the month, and then it's just completely blank. And the next page is the name of the next month and completely blank. So I kind of felt like that's what we did with like a depression time skip. Yes! Very depression. In which I feel is probably one of the best written descriptions of how time passes when you're depressed. Literally, like, October, it's blank. November, it's blank. December, it's blank. So I feel like that's the kind of depression time skip we did.
大切な人が死ぬのは悲しい。それくらい分かっているよ。
He said it so plainly, but I shook my head. No, that's not it. What I meant was that I don't want you to regard your life so casually. You talk about your death mechanically, as if you're something that will just break down, like it's nothing.
それで間違っていないよ。言っただろう。僕は律のためだけに生きている。たとえ死んでも、あの子が守れるならそれで。
That's what I'm talking about! Why are you giving up on yourself so easily? You think Rizzy and Tokyo are precious, right? Why would you assume you're not?
僕が大切?
Yeah, I know even I'd be affected if you died. It would hurt if you passed away like Lise, and so it makes me really sad to see you just throwing your life away. And angry!
は?
I said I'm angry!
ムカついたって。
I was trying to convey how I felt, and I ended up getting all emotional. I even surprised myself when I said that.
君、何を言っているのか分かってる?
Ayumu was clearly confused, but I decided to keep going. I might have chosen the wrong words, but they were the closest to how I felt. When I first met you as our student council president, you were friendly, but I could sense you had this emotional wall. It was like you weren't real.
そんなこと。
Wasn't it true? You were always smiling and we'd never had a genuine conversation. I didn't know what you were like deep down, but when we fought, you were doing much more real. You were doing much more real. You were much more real with me. Oh, yeah, we're doing well. I'm shocked by how actually, like, okay. Why is the super dark game the one with, like, the kind of, like, competent, emotionally healthy protagonist? Despite the fact that we do, like, swing between extremely depressed and extremely Genki.
I really thought you were terrible, but I was happy to see the true you.
嫌な人って。また喧嘩でもしたいの?
Shut up and listen! Ayumu sounded exasperated, but there was a gentleness in his voice. I said I was happy about it. I think it's good that we fought. But you know what? I felt like you then put that wall right back up. Or rather, like you tried to run away. It wasn't fair.
ずるい。どうして?
Because you were really going at me, you know? What? You fought with me all the time and said some awful things, and then you just kind of gave up. You gave up on life and tried to run away. That's not fair. If you're gonna make me mad, at least follow through to the end. I just now saw the bonk. Bonk. Don't give up so easily. Don't give up on your life like that. My emotions poured out. I knew I wasn't making much sense, but I couldn't stop. I just want Ayumu to live. If I can convey that to him, then he can think whatever he likes of me. I couldn't look him in the eyes, so I kept my gaze downward. Soon I heard him speak.
君はむちゃくちゃだね。
Shut up!
本当にむちゃくちゃで。
Don't laugh at me.
Goodness gracious. Well, we're 75 affection.
What? I heard Ayumu laugh and I looked up to find him smiling.
参った。僕の負けだよ。まさかここで喧嘩のことを持ち出されるとは思わなかった。
Probably.
しかも言うにこと書いてずるいとか。君には今までも理解しがたいことをたくさん言われたけれど、今日のが一番だ。
Rude.
Ayumu laughed when he said he lost, but I actually felt like the loser here.
Why are you laughing? I get that I might be talking nonsense, but when you laugh like that...
ごめんね。君をバカにしているわけじゃない
Did we get
よ。
through to it?
バカだと思っているのはむしろ自分に対してだ。正直僕は今すぐに生き方を変えられないと思う。あの時と同じ状況になったらまた同じことを言うだろう。
I don't think we're at the stage where we can just casually do CBT. We're doing CBT, but the therapy portion of that. Not the punch in the dick portion. Version. Not portion, version.
でもなんでかな。今この瞬間だけは自分の生き方とか死ぬこととかあれこれ考えるのがバカバカしくなったんだ。ただ君が僕のことを見て僕が思いもよらなかった言葉をたくさん話して
I think there's
それがすごく面白くて
I think there's a big difference between CBT therapy and CBT the sex thing. There's a big difference in that. They use completely different parts of the body.
笑いたくなった。こんな風に笑ったのは子供の時以来かな。
Aww. Cognitive behavioral dick punch. The next bad thing you say about yourself, I'm gonna punch you in the dick. I mean, I guess that's one way. I guess that's a way. Ayumu reached out to me then. His hand brushed against my cheek before resting on top of my head.
笑えてなんだかすっきりしたよ。ありがとう。
Ayumu stroked my hair gently as he said that. I felt strangely embarrassed by it and couldn't look up. But I didn't need to look to know what kind of expression was on Ayumu's face. We got head pats! I don't want you to die. That's the only thing I wanted to tell you, but I ended up saying a lot more. But if you were able to laugh because of it, then it was worth it. Thank you for bonk. Todd's broken tonight, so I'm doing all this manually.
まるで僕が笑ったことを 僕以上に喜んでいるみたいに見えるね。
Yeah, well, previously you looked like if you laughed you would die.
本当によくわからない子だよ。君って人は。どうしてそこまで僕にこだわるのかな。
Because... Yeah. I almost gave some response out of reflex, but I stopped myself. I spent a lot of time thinking about Ayumu, but maybe he was right. Maybe I just wanted to see him smile. I don't know why myself. But it did make me really happy, as you said. I was glad to see you smile. I decided not to deny anything and just admit it.
そう。それなら、今日君がここに来たことは間違いじゃなかったね。
We felt quiet for a while after I said that. However, Ayumu continued to stroke my hair even though we were silent. Your hand's still going. I didn't know what else to say. What else to do but say something.
え？あ
あ。Owie! Okay, I gotta make notes. Owie. Tamyo-tan is broken tonight! We finally got through. Tamyo-tan is broken, so I'm gonna have to manually give people toe beats.
なんだか君に触れているのが心地よくて嫌だった。
I'm gonna give myself head pats because it's appropriate for the scene. No, Phantom! Okay, I'm marking it down. Ah, you're good, you're good. Until, okay. Cute. Alright. Yeah, do disturb heat packs. Probably cold packs would be preferable, though. It's already hot enough outside, but maybe I'll take some of those heat packs for the cramps. That'd be nice. I don't hate it, but I just don't know how I should react. It's a bit embarrassing. I can't really look you in the eye.
なるほど。つまり頭じゃない方がいいのか。
What? I looked up at him, but I didn't think that was the right conclusion to draw. As I did, Ayumu continued to speak.
それじゃあ、こっち。
What a fuck! He pinched my cheek and I let out a weird sound. Ayumu, what are you doing? That really could have gone many ways.
変な顔だね。
That comment irritated me, so I grabbed his hand and pulled away. It's your fault I look like that. What a rude thing to say.
そうだね。でも僕は君の膨れた顔を見るのも好きみたいだ。というより、いろんな顔を見るのが好きかもしれない。これはちょっと面白い発見だよ。
What's that supposed to mean? I thought about snapping back with some sort of retort, but Ayumu beamed with such happiness that any anger I had dissipated. That's when I noticed something else. It feels like something between us has shifted. There used to be this irritating feeling like we'd never understand each other, but any tension we'd had was completely gone. Yeah. Whoa, that was a squeaky one. Blessings. We were both so peaceful and relaxed in that moment. The next day, Rizzy died. The amount of death flags that Rizzy's thrown up. I wonder if Rizzy's already here. All right, 4-1. A few days later, I was going to meet with Rizzy for the first time in a while. I made my way to the courtyard, but was surprised by what I found there.
これからリスト出かけるんだって。
Yeah, that's right. Ayumu whispered his question. He had been waiting with Rizzy and came up to me before she could. Yeah. Ayumu, are you still unhappy about Rizzy hanging out with me?
違うよ。前に
I think
会
so.
ってもいいって許可しただろ。
If I'm reading
そう
that
じゃ
right.
なくて。
Sorry, sorry, Rizzy, I'm in love with your brother. Rizzy approached hesitantly while Ayumu and I were talking.
実はお兄様も一緒に来たいと言っているんですけれど、ご一緒しても構わないでしょうか?
He wants to hang out with us? I certainly wasn't expecting that. I yelled without intending to, and Ayumu looked a bit annoyed.
そんなに驚くことじゃないだろう。僕だって出かけたい時くらいある。
Annoyed, sure, he's pouting.
リツと会うのも久しぶりだし、君とも話してみたいと思っていたんだ。もちろん、二人の邪魔をするつもりはないよ。買い物をするんだろ
Uh-oh.
だったら、荷物持ちくらいするよ。
We're gonna get attacked.
I thought we'd come to some sort of understanding in the student council room, but mulling over what he said just now, I couldn't help but think he had some ulterior motive. So you felt like going out, so you decided to tag along. Is that it?
今そう説明しただろう。別に無理にとは言わないよ。君が嫌なら素直に言ってくれればいい。
No, it's fine. Let's all hang out. Ayumu had sounded more disappointed than I expected, so I involuntarily agreed to him coming along.
よかった.
Yeah.
お兄様ったら急に一緒に来るとか言うんですもの。断られても仕方がないと思っていたんですけれど、あなたが一緒でもいいって言ってくださって嬉しいです。
Baby, it's okay. You don't have to talk in Keigo or Son Keigo. Yeah, she's dead. I wouldn't say no. I'm happy for Ayumu to join us.
ならよかった。決まりだね。
Ayumu smiled at my response, which made me regret suspecting his motives. Besides, I'm happy to hear that he wanted to talk more. Once decided, the three of us endeavored to enjoy our time together.
それで、今日はどのあたりに行くつもりなの?
Oh, she's
い
fucking
つはあ
dead
まり街
meat!
に出かけたことがないから、少し心配だな。
Uh-huh.
3人でいれば大丈夫だろうけれど、万が一にも率がはぐれたりしないように、僕は後ろからついていくよ。
No, don't quick save. I just realized that I've been peeking the mic a little bit. So, I'm gonna turn stuff down just a smidgen. Yeah. Yeah.
君は隣で率のことをしっかり見てやってほしい。
Yeah.
I see you're still overprotective. The general relaxed atmosphere made me feel bolder, so I just let him know what was on my mind.
Yeah.
君は相変わらず一言余計だね。
Yeah.
He's acting just like usual. Relief washed over me when I saw his familiar sarcastic smile. It was just easier to talk to him when he was like this. That may be so, but I think you say too little, Ayumu. You should talk more. It's such a shame that I'm the only person who experiences the joy of getting to know your sarcastic side.
へえ、君も言うようになったね。しかも、率がそばにいるのを分かっていてこんなことを言っているんだから、君の方がよっぽど嫌なやつだよ。
Hey.
It's more appalling to hide who you really are.
それが歩み寄ろうとしている僕に対する態度なのか？君が態度を変えないなら、僕もまた考えを改める必要がありそうだな。
Our friendly banter was quickly escalating into an actual fight. And we suddenly heard laughter coming from behind us.
お兄様とあなたって仲がいいんですね。
Yeah, sure. Huh?
率、今のを見てどうしてそんなことを思うんだ？
だってお兄様がこんなに話すのは時お兄様といる時くらいですもの。
Why are we in court? Why is the bailiff the one administering the CBT?
この子は時男とは全然違うよ。
Uh-huh.
Ayumu denied what Rizzy said, but it didn't come off as cold.
I decided I should ask for my... That's my first opinion too. He asked for it. Bailiff! Apply the punch to the balls! Just a court bailiff tap. Am I gonna have to make a whole ass scene? A whole ass courtroom scene? Am I really gonna have to make a whole ass courtroom scene?
I'm glad to know the real you. I'm not overly fond of your sass, but I'm glad to know the real you. So while it's not great that we argue all the time, I think it's good we can be open like this. Ayumu's face lit up with a genuine smile when I said that.
素がこれだから。嬉しいなら口が悪いのも我慢しなよ。
I can just imagine Ritsu sitting there being like, what's going on here?
So, have you decided not to hide how you really are from Rizzy?
君のせいだろ。それにどんな僕だって律は悪く思ったりしない。
I really don't need to think about a court bailiff using the defendant's nuts as punching bags. You know those little ones that hang from the ceiling that you just go ticka 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 and they go ticka 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 ticka. Yeah, Ritsu's gagging.
ずっと尊敬しています。それに私もお兄様たちの今みたいな会話を聞くのが好きです。
I'm glad you feel that way, Ritsu.
ほら、律もこう言っているから問題ない。
I think I'm okay. I felt warmth surge through me as I watched Ayumu and Rizzy smile at each other. It really felt like the three of us had bonded. Rizzy's dead next scene. Or next chapter.
Alright, let's get going. We better hurry before it gets dark.
そうだね。
Propelled by our excitement, we quickly exited the school grounds together. It'd been a while. Yeah, it had been a while. Yeah, we're at the mall again. It had been a while since I went into town with friends. The elaborate window displays looked even more dazzling than I remember them. Rizzy, let's check out that shop. Oh no, I actually thought it would look good on you, Rizzy.
Whoops. Yeah.
Getting the same outfit might be embarrassing, but if we're just trying it on.
二人とも前を見て歩かないと危ないよ。
Ayumu calmly guided us as we'd been too excited to pay attention to where we were walking.
律、ドリンクを飲み終わったならゴミを捨ててくるよ。君のも貸して。そのままじゃ店に入れないだろう。
He's like a chaperone or a parent.
Thanks. Ayumu had been doing these nice little things for Rizzy and me the entire time. Maybe he's just the caring sort, not only towards Rizzy. I watched as he strode away with our trash. As I thought about him, Rizzy let out an exclamation. What is it?
あっちのお店にあるのはパワーストーンでしょうか。
Power Stone?
すごく綺麗。
What do you think we should do, Phantom?
Rizzy was looking at the window for the store next to the boutique. I joined her. You're right. It says that one. It says that one attracts happiness.
石によって意味が変わるみたいですね。こちらは対人関係を良くするもので、こちらは学力の向上。
You mean the Iggy strap? Just go buy lingerie?
律はどれが気になるの？
Ayumu appeared by our side without me realizing it and perused the shop window as well.
律は勉強を頑張っているし、やっぱり学力向上かな。
私は。
Ritsu hesitated as her gaze flickered over to another part of the display. I realized she was eyeing some bracelets rather than individual stones.
No!
Were you looking at those bracelets? They're super cute.
素敵だと思います。
Ritsu's face lit up with a smile when I pointed at the bracelets. Seems my guess was spot on.
ブレスレットなら僕が買ってあげるよ。どれがいい？
Are we all gonna get matching bracelets? I'm gonna scream.
Rizzy hesitated again when Ayumu offered to buy her something.
僕がプレゼントしたいからするんだし、遠慮なんてする必要はないよ。
Oh, you're right! Rizzy finally answered with Ayumu's gentle encouragement.
実は前からお兄様がしているのと同じようなものが欲しいと思っていた。
I knew immediately that Rizzy was talking about Ayumu's bracelet.
It's probably Ayumu's charm.
これは。
Ayumu faltered and touched his bracelet. Then he glanced over at me. Is that, you know?
そうなんだよね。
So we only had a short exchange under our breaths and understood what he meant. It wasn't that he was hiding it, he just didn't think Rizzy would notice, so he wasn't sure what to say.
僕が身につけているものを律が気にしているとは思わなかったよ。別に女の子が喜ぶくらいおしゃれというわけでもないしね。本当にこれと同じようなものでいいの？
Alright, bonker time for you, Phantom. 2 bonks!
似たデザインのものを持っていれば、お兄様と会えない時もお兄様のことを身近に感じられる気がしますもの。
Yeah.
そうしたらいつでもお兄様のことを思っていられます。
嬉しいことを言ってくれるね。それなら同じようなものがないか探してくるよ。
Ayumu couldn't turn down Rizzy's request after hearing her reason.
中は狭そうだから一人で見てくる。リスのことをよろしく頼むよ。
You got it. He was worried about leaving her alone for even a short while. I watched him walk into the shop before turning to Rizzy. He really cares about you a lot.
私も同じくらいお兄様が大切です。二人きりの家族ですもの。
She's saying he's her only family. Then Rizzy must not think very highly of her parents either. I didn't know if I should mention their family, but since I'd already heard the story from Ayumu, I plucked up the courage to ask her. Rizzy, do you not see your parents much?
あなたは私たち家族のことをお兄様から聞いているんですね。
A little bit. I heard they're researchers and they rarely see you and that you grew up in the research district. I avoided mentioning Ayumu's feelings about everything. Rizzy gave a slight nod.
私の方が多
Yeah.
分お兄様よりも両親には会っておりません。物心ついた時には施設に預けられていて、そんな私に家族として会いに来るのは
Yeah.
お兄様だけでした。
Wink, wink, wink. Yeah, it's cool. My parents are dead.
お兄様に連れられて両親に会ったこともあるんですが、
Yeah, they're just,
あまり親という感じがしなかったんです。だから私の家族はお兄様だけだと
Oh
思
yeah,
って
don't
い
worry,
ま
my
す。
parents are dead.
白状かもしれませんけれど、
I don't think so. My parents passed away, so our circumstances are different. But even if they were alive and I met them now, I wouldn't be able to immediately feel like they were my parents. Family isn't just about being blood related. The relationships themselves are very important. I tried to convey my understanding by relating it to my own situation. Rizzy smiled at me as I did.
わかります。私にとってはお兄様と一緒によく会いに来てくれた時代お兄様も家族みたいなものです。
Yeah, could be.
今はあなたもいてくれますし、そう思うととっても幸せです。
Aww. I'm glad to hear it. I'm also happy to have met you, Rizzy. I do have someone who I consider my family. He's my guardian, and we email each other. Yeah, also, Lisa came to mind as well. She'd been my best friend and confidant. She'd been there for me more than any family. I felt the dull ache of grief and a sense of warmth just remembering her. Well, she's gone now, but there was someone I really cared about. That's why I know. I know how much you and Ayumu care for each other, and that's why you're so afraid of losing one another.
ええ、もちろん。
Yeah, my email pen pal uncle. Rizzy emphatically agreed, probably sensing how serious I was.
でもお兄様は
Rizzy began to say something, but then stopped herself. I followed her gaze and saw Ayumu coming out of the store.
待たせてごめんね。これでよかったかな。
He held up a bracelet that looked incredibly similar to the one he wore. Wow, it's practically identical.
本当に
No, it isn't.
私が欲しかったのはこれです。
His bracelet was like round gray beads.
リツが喜んでくれてよかったよ。
So weird.
それじゃあ腕を出して。
Seeing how much Rizzy liked it, I even went to put the bracelet on her.
こうでしょうか。
そのままじっとして。
Oh. I hung back and watched as Ayumu fastened the bracelet around Rizzy's wrist. Wrapped the bracelet around Rizzy's wrist and fastened it.
これをしていれば僕のことを身近に感じられるかもしれないとリツは言ったね。それからいつでも思っていてくれるとも。だったら僕はこのブレスレットに自分の思いを込めるよ。僕がそばにいない時もリツが幸せでいられるように。
That's really, ominous.
リツが幸運に守られるように願っている。
Uh-huh.
ありがとうございます。お兄様。
Ayumu
Ayumu sounded so earnest when he spoke about what he wishes for Rizzy. Rizzy was glad to hear it, but something about her seemed melancholic as well. Maybe it has something to do with what Rizzy was going to say right before Ayumu came back. I think it would suck if he died. I continued to mull the situation over after we left the crystal store. I think Rizzy's probably already realized that Ayumu doesn't really care about himself. I noticed it, so there was no way Rizzy wouldn't, since Ayumu was so wholeheartedly devoted to her. He's important to her, but he doesn't care about himself. I imagine that would make her sad, no matter how much love he shows her. Considering all that, Rizzy's downcast demeanor started to make sense.
ぼーっとしてどうしたんだ？人にぶつかる。
Oh, sorry. Ayumu's words snapped me back to reality, but now I found I couldn't stop staring at his face.
何？
He looked the same as usual, but now I knew the range of feelings he could show. I felt a sudden surge of I felt a surge of emotions when I remembered how earnest he'd been with Rizzy. Ayumu, I've come to a decision.
決めたって、何を？
He looked confused, but I didn't answer his question, turned to Rizzy instead. Rizzy, I'm afraid I have to go home. I just remembered there's something I have to do. Well, let's hang out again soon. I'll see you later, Ayumu. And I'll see you later, Ayumu. I turned around and left before either of them could respond. Well, okay. They might think that was odd, but I can't let them find out where I'm going. Are we going to get the same bracelet? I didn't know if this idea was a good one. But I really hoped that one day Ayumu and Rizzy would be able to be truly happy together again. So I decided this idea of mine was worth the gamble. What? Where the fuck are we going? It would be a smidgen creepy. It would be a smidgen creepy. Hey, brother-sister matching bracelet? I bought one too! The next morning I waited for Ayumu in front of the student council room like I'd done before.
どうしてこんなところにいるの？と聞くまでもないか。
Ayumu said that with some exasperation as he stepped in front of me, but it didn't seem like he wanted me to leave.
これから毎朝君がここで待っていたとしても、僕はもう驚かないよ。
Yeah, I guess it's become a habit.
入って。話したいことがあるんだろ。
Yeah. Ayumu showed me into the student council room and I took out a small package from my bag. There's something I wanted to give you.
一応聞くけど、食べ物じゃないよね。
No. I made a face at him. I'd seen how he dealt with food he didn't want numerous times. It'll be a long time before I make anything for you.
まあ、そうだろうね。でも、
yeah.
君はもう知らない人間じゃないし、例外になるんだけどな。君が何かを作って持ってきたなら、食べられる気がするよ。
Glad to hear you trust me so much, but it's still not good for you to change your attitude depending on the person. The conversation was veering off course, so I quickly steered us back on track. Yeah. Anyway, could you please hold out your hand?
手？
Oh, we made us matching bracelets! Not your palm, yeah, the back of your hand.
何を始める気か知らないけど、
Something weird!
おかしなことをするなら、
Shut the fuck up. Just keep quiet and be still. Well, I switched those. Just be quiet and keep still. Having said that, I now felt more nervous than Ayumu, even though he was the one who didn't know what was going to happen. I hope this goes over well. Yeah, this is a visual novel about bracelets. A ring? That's a lot different than a bracelet. A ring? I took Ayumu's hand and placed a ring on his pinky. I bought it at the crystal shop yesterday. The ring had the same stone as Rizzy's bracelet, and it shimmered lightly when the light from the window hit it. I also wish that your happiness would be protected, Ayumu. Well then. Ayumu was clearly surprised, but I held onto his hand tightly to convey my sincerity.
どうして？
After a pause, Ayumu spoke up quietly. It was difficult for me to tell what he's feeling. Perhaps he didn't like it. I tried to think of a way to explain it. Yeah, after I left you two yesterday, I went back and got it at the same shop. Yeah.
そうじゃなくて、どうしてこれを僕に買おうと思ったの？それに、その言葉は僕がリツに言った言葉だ。
Now I felt I understood what Ayumu was feeling. He was nervous. I bore that in mind as I continued. After hearing about your background, I thought I understood why you cared so much for Rizzy. But something felt off to me.
僕の説明は理路整然としていたはずだ。何も引っかかることなんてないよ。
You may think that, but you probably don't see it because it has to do with yourself. I I noticed something for the first time when I saw you and Rizzy together yesterday. That you wanted what you were doing for Rizzy. What? What? That you wanted what you were doing for Rizzy. Oh, like he wanted something? Okay, he wanted the same thing that he was doing for Rizzy. Okay. That's the feeling I got at least. Yeah.
僕がして欲しかったこと。
Ayumu, you said you had this inexplicable emotion when Rizzy was born. It could have been love, or maybe it was admiration. Innocent, untainted, and pure. Those were the words Ayumu used to describe Rizzy when she was born. And yesterday, he held Rizzy's hand and wished fervently for her happiness. To me, it felt like he was longing for something he could never have.
僕がリツに憧れているっていうのか。
Yeah, you saw everything you couldn't have and everything you'd given up on in Ritsu, didn't you?
そんなことはない。
No. Ayumu denied it, but he didn't sound confident, and I knew for certain I was right when I saw his expression. I was just guessing when I said all that, but I'm more sure of it now.
どうして？
Because you look so happy. You actually looked really glad when I said the same thing you did. I looked up at Ayumu, who was a whole head taller than me. Not only were his cheeks flushed, but so were his ears. Are you feeling a little shy right now?
そんなこと。いちいち聞かなくていいから。
Wow, this is the first main character that is really taking charge.
Ayumu's voice shook with nervousness. He then... reached out and pulled my head to his chest. Huh?
Pull away.
I love that's an option. Stay there. I remained where I was, and he continued to hug me. I could tell my face was burning up. However, his hand was so gentle that I didn't feel anything like the urge to turn away. Run away?
I don't know. I guess if you're going for a bad end, but you decide to play all the way through, I don't know.
I'm a little embarrassed, but I don't hate it.
このまま動かないで。
Sure. I felt the warmth radiating from Ayumu's body, and any nervousness I'd had began to subside as I regained my composure.
さっき言ってたのはただの真似？僕が幸運に守られるようにっていう言葉。
He whispered his question to my ear, and I gently shook my head. No, I said it because I meant it. You don't exactly take great care of yourself. That's why I wished for that.
君はずっと言っているよね。僕が自分を大切にしていないって。
Yeah.
前にも言った通り、僕は急に生き方を変えることはできない。もうずっとそうやって生きてきたからね。でも自分の代わりに君が僕の幸せを願ってくれるのは悪い気はしない。すごく心地いいよ。
That's so cute. I'm glad. His usual collected tone had returned, indicated that he'd calmed down as well. But I could still feel heat from where our bodies touched, and we remained motionless like that for a while longer. Aww. Cute, 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 cute.
今帰り。
Ah, 4-2. Oh, hey. Yeah, I am.
But we're only like 60% of our battle, unless we're gonna get some new choices.
Ayumu approached me a few days later after school. We hadn't spoken after I'd given the ring, so I felt oddly nervous talking to him. I guess? Unless I'm reading the flowchart wrong. It's all a bit awkward, so maybe it's more embarrassing. Yeah. I was trying to figure out what to say when I noticed Ayumu looked a little strange. Did something happen?
ああ、うん。大したことじゃないんだけど、生徒会の仕事をしている間に父から着信があったみたいなんだ。
Oh?
こんなことめったにないから折り返すべきか迷っていたんだけど。
Do your parents ever contact you for anything besides research? It was safe to say I had a bad impression of them. I started to feel worried, not just for Ayumu, but for Rizzy too.
いや、ほとんどないよ。ましてや、学園にいると分かっている昼間のうちに連絡をしてくるなんて。
I think this chapter is about to get very long.
イレギュラーすぎて、正直少し動揺してる。それに、リツの方にも連絡が行っていないか心配だ。
He must have the same thought I had.
だから、先にリツに連絡を入れようかと考えていたんだけれど、君を見かけたから声をかけさせてもらったんだ。今日はリツとは会っていないの？
No, I haven't. She said she had to do some student council work as well.
そうか。それならやっぱり一度連絡を入れてみるよ。
The death flags.
Have your parents ever tried to contact her directly in the past?
いや、用事があるときは僕を通すように言ってある。でも言った通り、僕に連絡してくること自体稀なんだ。連絡がつかない僕を諦めて、リツに連絡することも考えられる。
Yeah.
I think you should also call your parents back and of course get in touch with Rizzy.
そうだね。そうしてみる。
He was nervous and he came to us for help. But immediately after Ayumu said that we heard the announcement.
花咲くお時間です。集合して。
That's us.
だね。僕もすぐに行くよ。行く前に両親とリツに連絡をするから。はるかは後から来ると言っておいてくれないか。すぐに追いつくから。任務には先に向かっていてほしい。
Okay. I wanted to know what his parents were going to say, but I couldn't also be late. I rushed over to Command Center to relay Haruka's message.
やあ、今日は君が一番だよ。初めてだね。すごいすごい。
As usual, the commander didn't seem stressed at all, but despite the fact we had mission. Ryo sat next to him in front of his computer and said nothing. He was focused on his own work. I couldn't tell how urgent the mission was from looking at them, so I thought I should ask. But before I could, I heard footsteps behind me.
Yeah.
なんや、うちが最後かと思った。
Yeah, we haven't seen much of him.
みんなほぼ同時ですわね。それで今日はどこに怪獣が出たんですの？また居住エリアだって言うなら急がないとね。
Yep.
いや、今日は商業エリアだよ。とはいえ、急いで欲しいことには変わりがないけどね。って、はるかがまだか。
Haruka's gonna be late. She said she'd catch up with us.
はるかに会ったんですの？
Senna's eyes widened in surprise, and I realized it'd be better if I didn't let on how well I knew Haruka and Ayumu. He said his identity was confidential, so I better keep it secret, right? I thought about how best to answer, but then Mocha jumped in.
はるかが遅れるなら、なおさらうちらは早く行かんと。
Yeah. Right. I kept things vague at the end, and we all headed to where the vectors had appeared.
Good point. Oh god.
もうこんなところまで入り込んでるやん。
The vectors had made it to town, but thanks to the alarms, there were no civilians on the street.
遅れてごめん。
Blessings. Haruka joined up with us right when we spotted the vectors. Everything all right? I was worried about what happened, so I whispered this to Haruka. She answered under her breath.
まあ、ちょっとね。とにかく今は害獣を倒すのが先だよ。
Right, understood.
Yeah, the vectors required our full attention. I looked at them again and realized there weren't that many.
Is this it? There are less of them than we're used to.
今司令と連絡を取ったんだけど、どうやら外壁付近にまだいるみたい。
そんならここら辺におるのをちゃっちゃと片付けて向かわなあかんな。
ええ、急ぎましょう。合流されたら厄介ですわ。
了解。
We're gonna cast augment on everyone. Cause we need to boost our augment.
I'll cast augment on all of you.
いいね。
Haruka smiled at me and I went around casting augment on everyone. Oh yeah, true, there's a smile. There's a smile from Kaori. Not on Mocha. Mocha looks pissed. Everything okay?
バッチリですわ。ありがとうございます。
おおきに。
Now she's
ほな
smiling.
行ってくるわ。
Now everybody's smiling. Look.
Yeah.
Yeah, my augment boosted up everyone's psychokinesis, allowing them to strike down vectors with rapidity. With rapidity? Uh-oh. We defeated all the vectors in town and then moved to the outer wall of the financial district. Familiar face greeted us when we arrived. Moravia.
Hyuga to Yukinamiもいますわ。
Hearing that, Haruka immediately called out.
ヒューガは私が引き受ける。
I sensed determination in her voice and remembered when we fought Hyuga before. Hyuga and Yukinami completely overwhelmed us back then. Haruka might be looking for revenge. God is a
それじゃあ、モラビアは私がやる。雪並みは余地ができるセナが相手して。では、あなたとモカは援護をお願いしますわ。
Okay. Can do.
任せとき。
We decided on our strategy and mounted our attack, carefully closing in. Alright. Fight time.
ちょろちょろと、鬱陶しいですわね。
No. Yeah.
それはこっちのセリフなんだけど、逃げ回ってないで一発くらい当ててみなよっと。
Senna easily parried Yukinami's kick.
当たりませんわよ。純粋な力比べなら勝機はないと思うよ。そうとも言えないよ。こっちにはブーストもあるし、何より。
Yeah. Yeah.
なるほど、目くらましだね。本体はこっちかな。外れ。こっちだよ。
What up? Kaori kicked Moravia's arm, catching her off guard.
今のはちょっと痛かったね。じゃあ次は僕から行こうかな。
The fight continued to escalate. Mocha and I desperately tried to keep up and provide support as we took care of the vectors in the area. We were able to make the fight an even match on our end, but Haruka was having more trouble.
陣営。
そんなんで俺を燃やせると思ってるのか。それとも今度は力を加減しすぎて失敗したか。
You mean the full harem route where we just punch everyone in the dick? Are her flames weaker than usual, or is Hyuga right? She's just making a mistake. But Haruka didn't look like she made a miscalculation. She looked like she was in pain. I don't know why Haruka's having a hard time, but I have to back her up. Okay, I'm gonna quick save here because I think we need to cast Augment on Haruka. Yeah. I rushed to Haruka's side and cast Augment on her. Haruka, I've got you.
ありがとう。助かるよ。
Yeah.
「まだやる？あんたたちの相手をしながらこっちは害獣も倒しきったけど。
The fight dragged on, and it didn't seem like either side was close to a win.
限界なのは君たちの方って気もするけど、こっちも圧倒的に有利ってわけじゃないか。
モラビア、いい加減疲れたよ。
ち、玉切れだ。
Great! Time to get him!
Our enemies were clearly fatigued as well.
じゃあ、お言葉に甘えて撤退させてもらうよ。
We should have just killed him.
待ちや。
Thank you, Mocha.
誰も逃がすとは言ってへんで。
追ってこられるわけねえだろ。そっちにはお荷物もいるしな。
I looked to where Hyuga gestured and saw. Haruka was completely out of breath.
じゃあそういうわけだからバイバイ。
Can you imagine a gun that shoots, but every time it shoots goes ooh, 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 ooh. They beat a hasty retreat. I confirmed that all three had disappeared behind the outer wall, then hurried to Haruka's side. Haruka, are you alright?
平気。っていうかごめん。私のせいだね。
深追いしないのは戦いの鉄則だよ。元よりここは引くべきだった。 戻りましょう。私たちの務めは果たしましたもの。
せやな。
That's the best autocorrect of them all, though.
I knew just from watching Haruka that she'd used all of her strength in that battle. No one blamed Haruka when we returned to the command center.
I need to rest. Maybe.
ああ、なるほど。わかりました。承知しましたよ。
The commander was speaking to someone on his cell phone when we entered the room, but he immediately hung up upon seeing us.
お疲れ様。今回もいい戦いだったね。
No, you don't sound good.
最後の方見てなかったやん。
それで、今のお電話どなたからでしたの？あまり歓迎ムードではなかったですけれど。
The commander hesitated for a moment, but ended up relenting and explained the situation.
第3セクターの間宮所長からだよ。
Uh-oh. Director Mamiya. I gasped and looked towards Haruka, who was visibly tense. She nodded at me.
So he was talking to her father.
実はこの間の任務の様子と今日の任務の様子を
no, they're scared
研
about
究エリアで
Haruka.
も観測していたんだ。
Haruka's powers.
この間ってシータの外を調査した時ですわよね。
Uh-oh.
うわ、内緒で見てたってことやんか。感じ悪いわ。
黙っていてごめん。君たちの実践データを取るためにできるだけ意識させたくないとの意向だったんだ。
So were they satisfied with what they got?
満足というかさらに要求してきたんだよね。どうも
God.
ヒューガに興味があるらしくて。
Possibly.
ヒューガ？どうしてあいつだけ？能力的にはモラビアの方が上だと思うけど。
もう少し正確に言うよ。
Uh-oh.
ヒューガとハルカの戦いに興味を持ってるんだ。
I noticed Haruka didn't seem all that surprised, despite suddenly becoming the topic of the conversation. Wait, perhaps this is why Ayumu's parents contacted him? If so, then Haruka volunteering to fight Hyuga today might have been because her parents wanted it.
シータの外で戦った時、ハルカはかなり能力を使っていたよね。
He's not, but he's another romanceable guy.
あの時の陣営の威力が研究者たちの興味を引いたんだ。だからヒューガともう一度戦わせたいと。
今日の戦いじゃ。
Haruka interrupted the commander. He answered her question though with some difficulty.
今日は1対1というわけじゃなかった。
は？まさかと思うけど、ハルカを一人で戦わせる気？殺すつもりなの？
少なくとも僕はそんなつもりはない。
From the way he said it, it sounded like Ayumu's parents have other plans. Can he even go against them? The commander looked troubled, so I knew it would be difficult, but Haruka remained calm.
命令ならやる。だけど、うまく能力が出せなくなっているから、あまり期待されても困るけど。
能力が出せない。もしかして、今日の陣営は威力を抑えてたわけじゃないのか。
Amazing.
うん。あれで全力。その証拠に。当分返信も解けなさそうだし。
She can't undo her transformation? What does that mean?
どうやらハルカとはもう少し話をする必要がありそうだね。
Uh-oh.
他のみんなは先に帰るように。
The commander looked more serious than ever, and Haruka's grim expression worried me, but I couldn't just defy orders and stick around. I didn't have much choice but to leave with everyone else. I was still distressed about the whole ordeal after we all left the command center. I did my transformation, returned to the prep room. The sky grew dark as I waited for Haruka. I suppose they were having a long discussion. It's probably almost time for curfew, but I could use my new status as a Blooms member to go back to my dorms after curfew.
Well, that's not our chair. That's the professor's chair. That's Kuyamori, whatever his name is. I never remember.
But even if I didn't have that privilege, I'd still wait for Ayumu. Oh, they're back. I heard footsteps approaching and then saw Ayumu appear from the hidden stairwell.
君、どうして？
I was waiting for you. You've got this whole thing with your parents, and then you said your powers were going. It's impossible for me not to worry after hearing all that.
そうだね。君はそういう子だった。
Ayumu's smiled as he said that, but something about him seemed sad. It pained me to see him that way. Yeah. What did you talk about with Mr. Kurumori?
そうだね。君には話せるギリギリのところまで打ち明けるよ。
Sit down on this amazing looking couch. So there are some things you can't say.
それはでももう今更かな。隠しておいても意味はないのかもしれない。
Then I want you to tell me everything. I can't leave you by yourself when you seem to be in so much pain.
うん。ありがとう。
True, when there is no C and B, it is hard to give the T. He thanked me, but his expression remained dark.
順を追って話すよ。まず、任務の前にあった父からの連絡についてなんだけれど、司令が言っていたヒューガとの対決のことだった。シータの外での任務を映した映像を今日になって見たらしくて、僕が折り返しの連絡をしたのが害獣発生の連絡が来た後だったからね。もしも任務中にヒューガが現れたら必ず戦うようにと言われたんだ。
Ayumu spoke so matter-of-factly. It wasn't at all how someone would usually talk about their parents. My heart ached for him. So his dad really doesn't care if Ayumu's put in a dangerous situation.
だからヒューガとの戦いも進んで引き受けたんだけれど、結果は君も見ていた通りだよ。
We ran into him at the very beginning of the game, but we haven't seen him since.
どれだけ全力でやってもあの程度の炎しか出せなかった。鎮煙だけじゃない。超能力全体が落ちてきているんだ。
Do you have any idea why? It looked like both you and the commander knew the reason. I'd asked if he'd been able to figure it out with the commander, but Ayumu just stared at me.
原因なら分かってる。
Nope,
司令の
Moravia
推
is the
測
pink
と
girl.
僕の推測も合致したし、間違いないだろう。だから僕はもう君と会うべきじゃない。
Oh, he fell in love.
And again? I couldn't understand what he meant. We can't see each other. Why?
会うべきじゃない。それが正しいんだ。でも君の姿を見てしまうと決心が鈍るよ。
Oh. Ayumu's smile filled with sorrow. I couldn't help but say something when I saw it. Why would you say that? Tsutareka! Where's my bonker? Where's my bonker? 3 of them! 2! 3! Yeah, they are the Meguca rules. Why would you say that? I want to see you, Ayumu. Especially now, with all that's going on. But the more I protested, the more miserable he looked.
君は今でも普通に戦えているよね。
I don't think anything's changed. Does that have something to do with your powers weakening? With such a sudden change of subject, so I asked him to clarify, but Ayumu just shook his head.
君が普通に戦えているというなら、これは僕だけの問題だよ。
Wait, shit, that's us saying we have it. Fallen in love with him.
That was basically a confession.
But we didn't know it. Ow! Why is this game suffering?
You're alone?
ね
I almost stopped breathing when Ayumu said my name, but the joy I felt was immediately dashed by what he said
え、
next.
僕は君のことが好きだった。こんな局面に来てもまだ鈍いままでいるところも含めて。
Are you seriously trying to pick a fight after saying you like me?
うん、そうかもしれない。今にして思えばバカバカしいとも言える喧嘩も。だからありがとう。僕にぶつかってきてくれて、僕の素を引き出してくれて感謝している。
Please don't bad end me.
I could sense the finality in Ayumu's words, as if he were trying to leave everything in the past and exorcise me from his life. This is all wrong, Ayumu. Why are you talking like this is the end? The commander said he wouldn't let you fight alone. Don't say it like you're going out there by yourself.
いや、周りがどう言おうと、僕は一人でヒューガと戦うことになるよ。君も言っていただろう。律を人質に取られているようなものだって。
Okay, we're 100 each way.
だから僕は逆らうことができない。そういう風に今までも生きてきてしまったし、僕には選択する権利もなかったんだ。できるのは諦めることだけだ。君を好きでいることをね。
I wanted to say something but couldn't find the words, so I just went to him. He was gonna leave alone. I wanted to stop him, so I reached out, but he refused to take my hand.
What? That was a noise.
Sir! Instead, he took me by the shoulder and pulled me close.
もし僕がヒューガとの戦いから戻ることができなかったら、
Oops. He sounded agonized as he whispered in my ear.
両親とは精一杯取引をするつもりだけれど。
Yeah, stabbed him in the heart. Shot through the
僕の
heart.
代わりにリズがブルームズに入るような事態になったら、
Yep, that's what I thought.
その時は支えてやってほしい。
Yeah.
そうじゃなくても、友人として君がリズのそばにいてくれればとても心強いよ。
Oh, this wasn't what I was expecting.
僕もせめて友人として君のそばにいられたら。いや、それすら今は。
Oops.
いや、それすら今は願ったらダメだろうな。
Baby, I've already cleaned your litter box and you have fresh food and you have Lala. And I cuddled you earlier today. He stated all that without waiting for my reply, then let go. He turned to leave the room. Wait, what am I trying to say?
ごめん。
Ayumu exited the room, leaving me standing there confused. Second cuddles? Yeah, she's gonna get second cuddles when I go to bed, which is probably what she wants me to do. I'll be like, Mom, go to bed. But no, we're gonna finish Ayumu's route. Ayumu likes me? No matter how clueless I could be, I knew he didn't mean just as a friend. And at the same time, I finally understood my feelings for him. I like him too. The pain in my heart lingered, and I knew it was because I had feelings for him. I lost him right when I realized it. I didn't know the reason why Ayumu said he'd give me up, but I did know that once he decides something, he doesn't easily yield. But he's gonna fight Hyuga by himself. I can't just let him go and do that. My feelings for Ayumu weren't going to disappear just because he pushed me away. I knew it'd be an uphill battle, but I had to do something. I wondered what I could do for Ayumu. I would act the second I had a plan. Well! Okay, I'm sorry, what? Normal? I'm sorry, what? Normal? I was mulling ideas over when I realized, received word about Haruka much sooner than I anticipated. Is Haruka really out there fighting? I guess we'll get this end and then we'll see?
一人で行かせるなんて手を打つって言ってなかった？
分かってる。だからすぐにみんなを呼んだんだ。今日はるかに招集をかけたのは僕じゃないんだよ。
間宮所長。
ああ、そうだ。君たちを呼んだことはバレていないはずだからすぐに後を追ってくれないか。はるかはシータの外でヒューガを迎え撃つつもりだ。場所はこの辺り。
Yeah. But this is an end. This is end. This is normal end. We confirmed the location the commander pointed to on the map, then nodded to each other.
研究エリアのすぐ外やな。
Yeah, we can catch up if we can catch up if leave right now. If we leave right now, so let's hurry. Over there! We found Haruka and Hyuga immediately. Haruka must have cast flame dust several times as they were surrounded by burning flames.
力を使いすぎだよ。
Kaori murmured that quietly as she came to stand next to me, making me all the more worried. I quickly called out to Haruka. Haruka! We're here to help!
みんな
援軍か。
あんたの相手はこっちや。
Yeah.
攻撃が来ますわよ。
Mocha and Senna kept Hyuga busy while Kaori and I ran over to Haruka.
どうして来たの？これじゃ約束が保護にされる。律を守れなくなる。
What are you even saying? You're a mess right now. You need to be thinking about yourself instead of Rizzy.
この子の言う通りだよ。まずはここを切り抜けないと。もう限界でしょ。
確かに。もうあまり力は出せないと思う。だから君の力を貸して。
You want me to use Augment? But if I do that, you'll... Haruka was definitely maxed out. If I used Augment now, using Flame Dust could cause her irreparable harm.
1対1の戦いじゃなくなったけど、せめて自分の手で決着をつけたい。そうしないと、あの人たちを納得させられないから。
Haruka must have been talking about her parents. I knew how Ayumu had lived his life, so I couldn't simply refuse him. Alright, I'll cast Augment on you. I closed my eyes and touched Haruka. After a brief pause, I could feel Augment taking effect.
ありがとう。それじゃあ、行くよ。
Okay.
セナ、モカ、引いて。
Kaori shouted to the others as Haruka prepared herself. Senna and Mocha noticed what was going on and began to put distance between themselves and Hyuga. At the same time, Haruka thrust out her hand. I guess?
陣営
Her powered flames burst forth, spreading swiftly towards Hyuga. I thought I heard a scream, but Hyuga had quickly disappeared behind a wall of fire.
やりましたの？
倒せたかどうかはわからないけど、決着はついたでしょ。
Senna came over to us and Haruka answered her question in a low voice. Haruka! Haruka stumbled just then and I rushed to help her up. She'd used way too much of her powers. Let's head back. Haruka needs to get some rest.
そうだね。
Let's sit you down right here.
Haruka was completely spent, so I maneuvered her onto a chair in the command center. The commander then came over to speak with us.
お疲れ様。今、間宮所長から連絡があったよ。
怒ってた？
まあね。でも、結果には満足したそうだ。それで、はるか。
That went a lot faster than
調子はどうか
expected.
な？
Haruka slowly opened her eyes despite her complete exhaustion.
能力は弱まってるけど、まだ使える。でも私は、多分このまま。
そうか。
What does that mean? I had no clue what they were talking about, but a bad feeling formed in the pit of my stomach when I saw Kaori's reaction. Yeah. I debated whether to ask Kaori or Haruka more about it, but then the commander came over to me.
こうなったからには、君にははるかのサポートを中心に動いてもらうことにするよ。はるかの能力が弱まったとはいえ、間宮所長はまだ研究を続ける意向だ。だから、はるかのサポートをしてほしい。ただし、友達として。この意味がわかるね。
Only as a friend. As I pondered what he meant, Haruka spoke up.
この子には、私から全部説明させて。私の今の状態も含めて話すから。いいでしょ？
I still didn't understand what she meant, but the commander didn't refuse her suggestion and simply nodded without another word. Yeah. Yeah, no augmentation in public. A few days after Haruka's fight with Hyuga, I was waiting to meet up with Rizzy for the first time in a while, Rizzy and one more friend. I used the time as I waited to think over the events of that day. After that, Haruka told me everything. Uh-oh. We went to the prep room in the chem lab to speak more privately. Haruka looked me directly in the eyes.
僕の今の状態だけど、超能力が弱っている状態で力を使いすぎたせいで、 女性化が解けなくなったんだ。多分もうマミや歩に戻ることはないだろう。
Oh no. I was completely lost for words when I found out the price Haruka paid during that battle.
この結果に後悔はないよ。両親はまだ僕に興味があるみたいだから、律のことも当分守っていける。だからこそ僕はこれ以上超能力を失うわけにはいかないんだ。君にはこれからもそばにいてもらうことになるけど、指令の言ったように君に恋をしたままじゃブルームズとして任務につけないからね。
This is not a good end, but I maxed it all! I maxed it all! Haruka gave me a sad smile, reminding me of what the commander told me before. The commander did tell us that we couldn't fall in love because then we wouldn't be able to use our powers anymore. After hearing Haruka's explanation, everything finally fell in place. Ayumu said he liked me, but there was a reason why he couldn't be with me. And then the commander told me to support him, but only as a friend. That meant the commander was aware of not only Ayumu's feelings, but also mine. If he's gonna stay as Haruka, then Ayumu's got no other option but to continue with the blooms. And in that case, I can't be the reason all this power dissipates. Though he rejected me now, I hoped I could still tell Ayumu how I felt someday. I wanted to tell him I liked him too, but I had to bury those feelings right now. I truly cared about Ayumu. Well,
君がこうやって待ってる姿を見るのは久しぶりだね。
I heard a voice and turned around to see Haruka and Rizzy.
なんだか変な感じですね。
I don't know. Really, it's no different than how it used to be. It's just like when we all went out last time. I acted as cheerful as I could. Haruka agreed with me.
そうだね。これからは姉としてになるけど、変わらず律のそばにいるよ。
I'm here for you too. It's just gonna be us three girls now.
そうですね。
No, he will never get the CPT that he needs now. Did my smile seem genuine enough? I was faking it now, but I wondered if I'd ever be able to really smile about all this. Ayumu's still alive and he's by our side. That should make us happy without a doubt. But whenever I let my guard down, the emotions buried deep inside threatened to overflow. Gucci and boob torture! I was gonna say we could just put a strap on Haruka and CBT that. I don't think she'd feel it. I mean, she wouldn't feel it, but it might get a similar effect. For now, I'll pretend not to notice them, at least until the day when I can truly smile again. Now, let's get going.
行こう。
I started walking, Rizzy and Haruka followed behind. Three of us chatted together and laughed, reminding me of the previous time we went out. Today should be just fun as that day was. Looked up beside me, felt like I believe in a better future. Well, fuck! Okay, well. That's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted at all. Yeah.
レポートだって楽しみだね。
Yeah, Rizzy is taking... Okay, there we go, finally.
ちょっと恥ずかしいですね。
We finally do... No, that was the normal ending, aka not a bad ending, but I still fucked up. Yeah. Okay, his name is Ibuki. Ryo, Hyuga, Yukinami. Other movie. Tokyo, Kamui, Mihaya, Ayumu. This game is mean. It is very mean.
行く場所を決めたら教えてくれ。
Yeah. Okay, what if we do ability use high, affection high? Start with these settings. No, affection high, ability use low. What if we do that? Okay, let's try this out. Because that actually puts these routes at like 2.5, 3 hours each, which is not bad. Though considering that there still is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more, that's a lot. Okay, this time we're gonna attack. I'll take this one. I ran ahead, Haruka trailing after me. We joined forces and struck the vectors with our punches and kicks. Ah! Yeah, the vector staggered, and before it could recover, I went in for a second strike. You're done for. Getting the villains will probably take a little bit longer because we'll have to go down a separate common route. My attack knocked the vector over, putting it out of commission. Yeah. Haruka, however, remained alert and scanned our surroundings. On it! Okay. Yeah, if we go print speed, anything's stream sized. Or I just stream longer. There's that option. Okay. We want to attack together with Haruka. Back you up, let's do this together.
助かるよ。なら、直接攻撃に切り替え。
Go for it. I moved next to Haruka and unleashed a series of attacks to keep Hyuga from going on the offensive. I guess. I don't know. Okay. It has to be. This has to be the right thing. Because we can't do low or else... Huh? Oh! There we go! We have to be fucking useless. We have to be fucking useless, but we get the good end. Alright, here we go. Okay. I continue to mull over ideas after returning to my dorm. In any event, I have to stop Haruka from going after Hyuga alone, and to do that, thinking things through made me realize I wasn't the only one who wanted to stop this. I should go meet with him tomorrow. Tokyo? The director? Ayumu? I made my way to Class 2C's room the next day during break. There he is. Tokyo. Hey, Tokyo, do you have a minute? There's something I need to talk to you about.
俺になら、場所を変えよう。
Mm-hmm. I guess not augmenting means we like don't make them use their powers more? I think that'd be for the best. How about the chem lab prep room?
いいよ。行こう。
We certainly couldn't talk about what was going on with his classmates right there, so we quickly moved to the prep room.
話って、歩のこと?
Tokyo got straight to the point, so I did the same. Yes, I need to ask you about him, or really about Haruka. Ayumu told me that you're Kaori, so I wanted your advice as the Bloom's leader.
俺も歩から聞いてる。あんたには、俺たちの正体を明かしたんだって。
He drinks his gender fluid. She's always been the one taking charge, so I guess she was the pseudo leader, the non-official leader. Not Senna or Mocha's though. That's why you're the only one I can talk to. You're also his best friend, so even if I knew who the others were, I would have come to you first regardless. I don't want Haruka to fight Hyuga alone, but I can't do anything about it by myself. And it's not just because of the researchers. Ayumu's dead set on doing it.
歩はそういうやつだよ。
Yeah.
どうせ律のためにやるしかないと思い込んでるんでしょ。
Usually, but there is no pink. We're white, Haruka's white, Kaori's yellow, Mocha is blue, and Senna is purple. There is no pink. But also, the most recent Precure team, the leader is blue. Nope, we're white. Along with, or Haruka might be technically silver or gray. But usually pink is the leader, but at least for the most recent Precure, blue. She is. She's the leader in the most recent Precure. The most recent Precure is really fucking breaking some barriers in Precure. We have a blue leader. There's a boy Precure. There is an actual guy who becomes a Precure, and we have an adult Precure. Like everyone else is like kids, and she's an adult.
あいつって自分で思ってるより周りのことが見えてないんだ。たまに世界には自分と親と律しかいないみたいな顔するからムカつく。
Tokyo's impression was pretty similar to mine. Impression was pretty similar to mine. I was happy to hear we were on the same page. I know what you mean. I was trying to help him, but he keeps wanting to handle things by himself. Yeah, normalized magical boys.
あんたがそんな風に言うなんて 意外。前は喧嘩してなかったっけ？
No, actually we've fallen in love with each other. We were, but a bunch of stuff happened and we got pretty close. Then he pushed me away again. I had to allude to how Ayumu and I felt about each other to explain what's been going on. It felt so awkward to say it out loud, which showed in the hesitant way I spoke. Tokyo's eyes sparkled with interest.
なるほど。
Huh? What's that supposed to mean? I broke out in a nervous sweat, convinced he'd seen right through me, and I figured out what had happened yesterday, but Tokyo paid no mind.
とにかく、俺もはるかを一人で戦わせる気なんてなかったから、協力者が現れてくれたのは助かるよ。昨日のはるかは、うまく能力が出せてなかった。本人も認めてたし、多分原因にも気がついてるんだろうけど。あんたは、歩夢に何か言われたりしなかった？
Yeah. Like what?
例えば、好きだとか。
Oh, about that. Being questioned so directly made me more nervous than ever, but Tokyo just continued talking.
今の反応が答えだね。となると、歩夢の能力が落ちた理由は分かったけど、あんたはどうなの？歩夢のことが好き？
Yeah. Well, we haven't really flexed our powers, so... Me? How did the conversation get here? Despite my nerves, I realized there was no point in hiding it from Tokyo. Yeah, I like him too. But Ayumu said he couldn't see me anymore, so I don't know if I can ever tell him.
でも、あんたは能力の強さも何か不調が出てるわけでもないよね。
I haven't been using them. Now that he mentioned it, I remember Ayumu asked me the same thing. I nodded.
あんたが歩夢を好きになったのはいつ？昨日の任務の後ってことはないでしょ？
I didn't know what he was driving at, but I had a feeling the answer was important, so I considered it carefully. I only realized it after the mission yesterday, but I think I fell for him much earlier. At the very least, I'd felt this way since I thought to give him that ring.
それなら、おかしいね。でも、思えばあんたは最初からおかしかったかも。
Thanks. Tokyo fell into deep thought for a while, then he started rifling through the pockets of his uniform. What are you doing?
ちょっと、あんたにかけてみようと思って。
Huh?
もしかしたら、あんたなら歩夢を助けることができるかもしれない。
What? There's something we can do? I couldn't hold back my excitement. Tokyo nodded.
確証はないけどね。だから、手を出して。
My hand. My brow furrowed with skepticism. What the fuck? As Tokyo took a razor and a test tube. Wait, what's that for?
これで指先を切って。で、ここに血を一滴ちょうだい。
Yep. Why?
言ったでしょ。歩夢を助けるためだよ。ちょっと傷をつけるだけでいいから。
Is this razor clean? At least let's get some of those, like, lancets for testing your blood for diabetes. Those are usually sterile. I was taken aback by his rather abrupt request, but I'd do it if I could help Ayumu. Alright, it's good. I cut my fingertips lightly and squeezed a drop of blood into the test tube.
ありがとう。ほら、手当てするよ。
In a swift movement, Tokyo cleaned my cut and put a bandage on my finger.
俺はこれを使って調べ物をしておくよ。俺の考えが正しければ、
I'm special.
歩夢の能力を一時的にでも回復させられるかも。
Oh.
それができなくても、きっと最悪の事態は避けられると思うよ。
You mean if Ayumu loses to Hyuga?
それもあるけど、歩夢が今の状態で超能力を使い続けると、ちょっと厄介なことになるんだ。
What do you mean? Are there other potential side effects aside from transforming into a woman? Yes, diabolic lovers involves a lot of blood.
まあ、とにかくその問題がある限り、歩夢は全力を出せない。
Speaking of, I should play more diabolic lovers, but I haven't had the energy. I haven't had the energy to do much.
実は最近、歩夢からちょっとヤバそうだって聞いてはいたんだ。歩夢は力を出し切ることを躊躇するかも。でもそんなことをしたら、ヒューガには勝てない。
In other words, helping Ayumu means helping him recover his powers even temporarily.
そうだよ。でも、あんたの血があれば全部解決するかもしれない。だから、自分の予想が正しいかどうか、それからセナとモカにも声をかけておくよ。二人にもある程度事情を知ってもらった上で協力してもらった方がいいからね。
You're right, but do you just need my blood? Is there anything else I can do? But do you just need my blood?
あんたは歩を説得しておいてほしい。もしヒューガと戦えって命令が来ても、行かなきゃいけなくなったとしても、必ずその前に俺かあんたに連絡するように言ってきて。
Tokyo gave me only one task, but I felt like it'd be the most difficult one. Ayumu has no intention of seeing me, so even if I go to him, it might not work. I conveyed my concerns to Tokyo, but he insisted.
あいつがそう言ったとしても、これはあんたの役目だよ。だから、任せた。これはあいつの親友である。俺からのお願い。
Once Tokyo said this, I knew I had to do it. Yeah, you know, maybe she dies in the bad end. But that could be Ayumu dying. I fought with Ayumu so much already. One measly rejection shouldn't make me back down. I'm doing this to save him. Yeah. Alright, leave Ayumu to me. Yeah, she was throwing up death flags like a motherfucker. I'm surprised she's alive. Later after school, I waited for someone I'd contacted earlier.
遅くなったでしょうか？
Rizzy! No, you weren't. I just got here too. Rizzy smiled at me, though she was slightly out of breath. Thank you for coming. I know this all came out of nowhere, so you're probably surprised.
いいえ、私もうすうす承知はしていたんです。それが私のためにしていることで、両親。
Okay, expected and it's because of me. Okay.
だから連絡をいただいても驚きませんでした。むしろやっとお兄様の力になれることが嬉しいんです。
I knew you'd want to help your brother. I figured that I'd need Rizzy's help to stop Ayumu, so I told her a good deal of what was going on. I couldn't tell her about the balloons, but I did say Ayumu doing something because their parents ordered him to, and that it was dangerous and shouldn't be done alone. I think she knows I didn't tell her everything, but Rizzy still believed me. Knowing she was also concerned about Ayumu motivated me even more. Tokyo, myself, and some other friends are going to help Ayumu, so I want you to assist me in persuading him. I don't want him to just bottle everything up. He needs to realize he can rely on the people around him. Blessings.
わかりました。任せてください。
Oh, that's a cute Rizzy sprite. Oh, thank you. It struck me that Rizzy sounded really dependable right just then. Yeah, she doesn't need protecting anymore. I hope Ayumu can realize that. Alright.
お兄様、こんにちは。
いつ、よく来たね。急に会いたいだなんて、何か困ったことでもあったの？要件を聞いても、会ったら話すの一点張りだったし、律らしくないと思っていたんだけど。
Sorry, that's my fault. I stepped into the room, interrupting their conversation. Ayumu started with surprise.
君はどうして来たんだ？僕はもう君とは会わないと言ったはずだよね。
Even so, you can't stop me from coming to you. You never said I couldn't see you after all.
それは都合のいい解釈だ。
I don't care. Besides, right now, Rizzy wants to speak with you. Just hear her out.
律が僕に用事があると言ったのは本当だったのか？
ええ、そうです。ここへは私自身の意志で参りました。
Not really of her own accord. She came here as an agent of Prince.
私はお兄様が私を守るためにお父様とお母様と何かの取引をしていることを知っていました。
君が教えたの
？Ayumu turned back to me in surprise and I shook my head. No, Rizzy's known for a long time, but she didn't say anything about it. We're buying her a car!
お兄様は私のことを見くびりすぎです。私がその気になれば お兄様がしていることくらいある程度は探れます。
Good one, Satenica. Good one.
頻繁に研究エリアに出入りしていることや、お父様たちの研究を手伝っていること、そしてあまり安全でないところに身を置くこともあると知っていました。
We're hitting him right where it hurts. The sister.
そのすべてが私を守るためだということももちろん分かっていました。でももうやめてほしいんです。
やめる？僕はそのためだけに生きてきたのに、それをやめろというのか？
お兄様が自分の生きる意味を私に見出しているということは十分に分かっています。でもそんな生き方ではお兄様の人生がなくなってしまう。
This is probably one of the more emotionally healthy Otome games out there, and it's wild.
僕の人生なんて、そんなものよりリツが幸せに生きてくれれば僕は十分なんだ。
それじゃダメなんです。
Ritsu snapped back in a way she never had before. Ayumu and I were equally shocked by her boldness.
私だけが守られているなんて、そんなのは幸せでも何でもありません。私はずっとそれを伝えたかった。けれどお兄様の気持ちを無駄にしたくなくて言えずにいたんです。でも今は私と同じようにお兄様のことを案じてくれる人が現れたから、私も勇気が持てました。
Rizzy glanced over to me and I nodded encouragingly.
私はお兄様に守ってもらわなくても大丈夫です。
Wow. She literally just hit him in the gut, pretty much.
お兄様が思っているよりもずっと強い人間だから、それこそお兄様に頼っていただけるくらい、これからもっともっとより強くなります。だから今度はお兄様がお兄様自身を大切にしてほしいんです。
Do it, Rizzy!
リツ。
Ayumu didn't bother hiding how stunned he was by Rizzy's sudden display of strength. I decided it was time I said something too. Ayumu, if you have any desire to take care of yourself, I want you to reach out to us.
手を。
Yeah, you're still trying to bottle everything up inside. But if you reach out to those around you, you'll find there are plenty of people willing to help. Rizzy, Tokyo, and me.
でも僕は君のそばにいるわけにはいかないんだ。君のそばにいたら能力が落ちる。それじゃ。
You're saying this right in front of Rizzy. Well, about that. Good point, but rebuttal. Tokyo said he's trying to figure something out with your powers so they won't weaken. Ayumu's eyes widened when I told him that. Yeah.
いくら時代でもそんなことができるとは思えないよ。どんな方法を見つけるっていうんだ。
I love how he brought up the powers in front of Rizzy. Ayumu clearly had his doubts, and I couldn't tell him anything definitive. I really don't know anything about his methods, but Tokyo said he was sure he wasn't, and Tokyo said he wasn't sure it would work. But I believe Tokyo would do everything in his power for his best friend. I don't know how it'll work, but he said my blood was key.
君の血?
Yep. Honestly, I can't imagine what he's going to use it for. But my blood could potentially solve your issues. It might help you recover your powers.
問題を解決するって。
I mean, I already cut myself, so.
本当に。
I can't say for certain, but I believe in Tokyo.
僕だって、Tokyoのことを信じたい。
Aww.
信じたいけれど、Tokyoがいくら頑張ってくれたとしても、そんなうまい話があるわけないって。
There were people trying to help Ayumu. That was an undeniable fact, and one I felt I should point out to him. I mean, it's not impossible.
これは都合のいい夢じゃないのかな。僕のために誰かが動いてくれるなんて。そんなことは今までなかった。
After a moment, Ayumu seemed to relax and open up a bit more.
いや、あったのかもしれない。僕が見ようとしていなかっただけで、思えば君はずっと僕に忠告してくれていたね。僕が人からの行為を無下にしているって、そういうのは良くないとずっと怒っていた。
Ayumu saying that reminded me of all the fights we'd had, and I couldn't help but laugh. So much has happened between us. Don't you think we can trust each other a bit more now?
少しどころじゃない。
Ayumu then quietly reached his hand out to me.
すごく信頼している。
Yep.
君は
Rizzy knows.
僕がどれだけ拒絶しても会いに来てくれた。見捨てないでいてくれたんだ。
Nope.
だから僕ももう観念するよ。
Aww.
君が信じたものを僕も信じる。
Ayumu's outstretched hand still wore the ring I'd given him. Oh, he didn't take it off. He kept it on even after he said he'd never see me again. That told me all I needed to know about his feelings, and I felt a swell of emotion in my chest.
もしかして僕の幸運は君自身なのかな。
That's adorable. That's adorable. Okay, sir. Sir. That's too cute. Ayumu whispered that to himself while looking at the ring. I hope so. I reached out and grasped Ayumu's hand tightly. All the while, Rizzy looked on, grinning from ear to ear. Wow, I'm glad my brother finally found someone that he loves. A few days later.
はるか、準備はできてるかい？
いつでも行ける。
了解。事前の調べ通りにヒューガがシータに向かっていると連絡が入ったよ。できればシータの外で戦ってほしい。派手な戦闘になるだろうからね。能力の低下については心配だけれど、今は戦いに集中して。
分かってる。じゃあもう行くからあとはよろしく。
ああ、こっちのことは任せて。来たね。はるかはもう向かったよ。急いで。
Yeah, it really does. It throws me off too. I'm like, Sita? It's Theta. It's a completely different pronunciation of the E.
一人で来たのか。舐められたもんだな。
一人で十分だと思ったから一人で来ただけ。ご託はいいからさ。
なるほど。よほど死に急ぎたいと見える。
Oh my.
ならお望み通りやってやるよ。俺を舐めたこと、あの世で後悔するんだな。
Yikes.
そんな蹴りが当たるかよ。おらおらおら、蜂の巣になりやがれ。避けてばかりか、あの炎はどうした。攻撃してこねえならどんどん行くぜ。
陣営。
はあ、なんだその弱っちい炎は。ああ、そうか。なるほどな。この間も手加減してたってわけじゃなくて、実際お前弱くなったのか。そんなんで俺を倒そうなんざ、お前本当に舐めてやがるな。もういい、死にやがれ。
Oh my god. Hold it right there. Right at the last moment, I launched some debris at Hugo with my psychokinesis, injuring him. It wasn't a very powerful hit, but he staggered because he hadn't seen me. He'd been too focused on Haruka.
君はこんな前線に来たらダメだ。後ろから援護するって話だったよね。
Yes. Kaori told me to come to you because the remedy won't make it in time. I relayed what Kaori had said, and then we heard her hailing us.
はるか、その子の指に傷があるから、それを舐めて。
What?
傷を舐めろって。
Like the wound. There's no time to explain. But suffice to say, if you do it, you'll be able to use flame dust again. I don't know
I saw Hugo starting to recover, so I held up my finger. Haruka also noticed him and nodded at me. I don't know.
わかったよ。これでいいの？
This clan is a fucking mess. Yep, I think you should have gotten your powers back temporarily. Try it out.
その前に君の力も貸してくれないかな。
Well, I suck at that. This
ここまで来たら
the slurp.
全力でやりたいんだ。
Okay, I focused my attention on helping Haruka. This fight was a turning point for Ayumu. With that at the forefront of my mind, I grasped Haruka's hand and wished with all my heart that she would win. It's done.
ありがとう。じゃあ行くよ。陣営
Blessings. Haruka thrust out her hand right as Hyuga pulled the trigger on his gun. Haruka released a tremendous scorching flame that swallowed Hyuga's bullet before it reached us. Oh, he died really fast. After devouring the bullet, the flames flew straight towards Hyuga, engulfing him as he attempted to retreat. Well, he didn't die nicely. Hyuga's screams echoed from behind the wall of flames, but the loud crackling of the fire soon drowned them out. Well then. Did we do it?
多分ね。
Drink more blood. I was literally just talking about diabolic lovers. Are you okay? Haruka staggered, so I rushed to prop her up. She breathed heavily in my arms.
ちょっと全力を出しすぎたかも。
Lick more blood. You should rest. Oh, how are you feeling? Tokyo told me what the problem was besides your... Never told me what the problem was besides your powers weakening.
もしかしたらやばいかも。君の血で全部解決するようなことを言ってなかったっけ？
Yeah. Do you think you need more? Maybe you should take some again. But, I tried to hold up my finger, but I couldn't really do it because I was holding Haruka up. I fidgeted a bit before Haruka gave an exasperated sigh.
血。つまり君の中にあるものを取り込めばいいんだよね。だったらこうする。
Haruka reached her hand out to me. Huh? She wrapped her hand on my head and pulled me close and then... It was so sudden I barely knew what happened. But then Ayumu pulled back and I saw the impish grin on his face. I finally understood what was going on.
こっちの方が早いよね。
What? But that was a kiss! And you're de-transformed!
君の血の代わりになるものなら
Why did you what?
何でもよかったんだけど。
After I think? That's a terrible thing to say. I pouted at him, but that just made Ayumu laugh.
ごめん。何でもよかったっていうのは嘘だよ。君のそういう顔が見たくて言ったんだ。
Rude.
キスはしたかったからした。僕はやっぱり君のことが好きだから。
Aww. That's not fair.
ひどいの次はずるいか。僕はつくづく君を怒らせるたちみたいだね。でも口喧嘩ができることも嬉しいよ。君がそばにいてくれる。それがこれほど幸せだなんて思ってもみなかった。気になってた問題ももう大丈夫そうだしね。君のおかげだよ。
After Ayumu finished speaking, I heard someone nearby clearing her throat.
あのさ、邪魔したくはないんだけど、変身が解けたなら早くシータに入らないと外気でやられちゃうよ。
I completely forgotten that Caroline and the others were there. Oh, right, Senna and Mocha have something for you.
これやろ、防護服。
I didn't notice that Senna and Mocha had also come over. We're now handing Ayumu a protective suit. The suit would ensure the outside air couldn't harm him since he was in his regular form.
早く来てくださいな。シータはすぐそこですけれど、移動するのに多少でも時間はかかりますし。それでお二人はそういう関係なんですの
？Relationship. Wait, now that I think about it, I never told Ayumu how I feel about him. I guess so, yeah. As my thoughts crashed into one another, Ayumu took the protective suit and put off answering setup and typing.
そういうのはまた後で。今は帰ろう。
Yeah.
そうですわよね。
Then it didn't pursue the matter further, so I tried to focus on something else. Once things calmed down, I'll go talk to Ayumu again. There were so many things to discuss, like what Ayumu was gonna do, what that would mean for our relationship. But for right now, he's alive and that's good.
というわけで、間宮君には引き続きアドバイザーとしてブルームズに残ってもらうことになったから、
よろしく。
なあ、今日はうちらも返信しなくてもよかったんとちゃうん？
それは規則ですから仕方ありませんわよ。別に私はどっちでもいいけど。
I had a feeling you'd say that, Kaori. A few days after the battle, the commander and Ayumu summoned us to the command center. Ayumu regained his regular form. Everyone else transformed like usual. The Blooms members, the commander, and Real were all present, so it felt strange for Ayumu to be that way. He hasn't been coming to school, so I haven't seen him in a while. I was relieved to see he was doing just fine, but I was just as surprised as everyone else that he appeared before us as himself instead of Haruka. I guess.
結局、超能力は消えてしまったんですの？
うん。あの後いろいろと検査も受けたんだけど、どうやらそうみたいだ。
And we won't see Haruka anymore.
なんや、そんな風に言われると寂しい気もするな。
別に姿が違うだけで僕は変わっていないよ。それにはるかじゃなくてマミや歩としてここにいることで、今までよりもかえってみんなの力になれるかもしれない。
Ayumu went on to explain this turn of events.
あの戦いの前から僕の能力は弱くなっていた。それなのに無理やり力を使うようなことをしたから限界を超えてしまったんだ。本当だったら死んでしまってもおかしくなかったかもしれない。
Well, that's the bad end. He dies.
でもそうはならなかった。彼女のおかげで。
Everyone turned and looked at me, and I felt a blush spring to my cheeks.
あの時何があったんですの？
Oh, so they weren't there for the kiss?
モカと私がついた時に
I
は
don't think so. I think that's
決着が
just
つこうとしたところでしたわ。
that just belongs to Tokyo.
せや、今までで一番でっかい炎の壁がバーッと広がっていったとこしか見てへんのや。その子のおかげってことは、ブースト以外に何かやったってことな？
I gave him blood and I kissed him. Well, about that. I paused, wondering how much I should say, but Ayumu took over.
それは秘密。
はあ、ここまで来てそんなのひどいんちゃう？
そうですわよ。
説明してもいいんだけど、そうなるとこの子の遺伝子に関する話とか難しい計算式とかも含めて説明することになる。結構長くなるよ。そうだな、2時間3時間で終わればいいけど。
I already took a genetics class in college. I do not need more genetics. Yeah. Senna and Mocha froze.
めんどくさいっちゅうことは分かったわ。
簡単に言うと、この子がちょっと得意体質だってこと。
Special trait.
で、それを利用して歩を助けたんだ。
Howdy concluded with that, and Senna and Mocha nodded as if they understood.
わかりましたわ。うまくいった理由についてはもう聞かないでおきます。その代わり、私たちの力になるって言った言葉は守っていただきますわよ。
Amazing. I love that they're like, don't ask how it worked, it just did.
もちろんだよ。僕はブルームズもこのままにはしておかない。僕だけじゃなく、いずれはみんなも超能力なんてなくして普通に生きてほしいんだ。そのために研究者たちと君たちの架け橋になる。君たちの能力を彼らのいいように利用させたりはしないよ。
Basically, you're our advocate. You're the magical girl advocate. Congrats on your new job.
クールなはるかからそんな言葉が出るなんて、うち泣きそうやわ。
What?
本当ですわ。あなたは変わったんですのね。
I don't know.
いい方向に。
うん。一人じゃ無理だったけどね。
I don't know.
そばにいてくれる人がいたから変われたんだ。みんなにも感謝してる。ヒューガとの戦いに 駆けつけて来てくれてありがとう。自分は一人じゃないと思わせてくれてありがとう。
We all beamed in response, knowing that our team had become stronger than ever.
僕の話はこれで終わりなんだけど。
Yeah, there are some holes.
この後少し時間をもらえるかな。
Oh, sure. It's been a while since we'd seen each other, so there was a lot I wanted to talk about.
それじゃあ外に出よう。風に当たりたい気分なんだ。
Fresh air. Are there knots? Not currently, no.
It's so nice out.
I shouted excitedly once we were outside, and Ayumu grinned at me.
それに人もまばらだから話をするにはちょうどいいな。
So why all the secrecy?
Oh, after I said that, I realized we obviously couldn't talk about what happened with Haruka and Ayumu in public. But then Ayumu said something I wasn't expecting at all.
君のご両親のことを聞きたいんだ。
What? Mine? Not yours?
そうだよ。確か亡くなっているんだったよね。
Yeah, they died when I was very young. I don't even remember what they looked like.
名前は？もしかして研究エリアにいたりなんてことはないかな。
Yeah. Well, this is in the research quarter. This isn't even near the school.
When he asked me their names, I was surprised to realize I didn't actually know. I only thought of them as mom and dad. Now that I think about it, I never asked Uncle Yashima about that even once.
知らないって顔だね。
Yeah, sorry. I think they were researchers, but I don't know if they worked in the research district.
Are we a test tube, baby?
My guardian never told me their names either, so why are you interested in my parents? Ayumu looked troubled for it when I asked that, and he paused for a moment.
いや、大したことじゃないんだ。ただ、君の得意体質の理由は結局僕にも時雄にもわからなかったから、君のルーツを知ればその謎も解明できるかもと思っただけだよ。
No, sorry, that's another route.
でも君が知らないなら無理に知ろうとしない方がいいのかも。
It was possible Uncle Yashima would tell me if I asked. Perhaps he meant to, but never got around to it.
But for some reason, I agreed with Ayumu and thought it would be better to leave things be.
Yeah, I think I'll probably find out at some point, but I don't think I need to know right now. Wait, so what's all this about my trait?
Tokyo suggested that my blood might work for you, but he never did tell me what made him think of that. Yeah.
その前に僕の身に起こっていたことについて話してもいいかな。
Uh-huh. Okay, sure. A slight digression, but it really was the topic at hand.
まず時雄が言っていた僕の問題だけれど、能力を使いすぎると女性化が解けなくなるというものだったんだ。
What? You mean you would have stayed as Haruka permanently? Well, we knew that.
ただ今までの任務では多少力を使いすぎても歩むに戻るまで時間がかかる程度のものだった。
So, however, for us, that wouldn't matter because we don't change gender, we just change clothes.
でもある時から変身が解けるまでの時間が長くなっていったんだ。超能力が弱まれば弱まるほどそれが加速していくことに僕は気がついた。
Yeah.
Now that you mention it.
能力が出せない。
Yes, that Anji transformation for a while. Yeah, I'm the source of the gender fluid.
I remember that though Haruka was often fatigued, there was the time when she couldn't de-transform. So that means it was really dangerous for you when you last fought Hyuga.
死ななかったとしても超能力を使い果たした上で遥のままになる可能性もあったね。
Wow. It hit me how close he was to losing everything. Fear of what might have happened and relief that it didn't came crashing over me at the same time.
ところで僕の能力が弱くなった理由については君は全然思い当たらないの？
By the way you say that makes it sound like I'm the reason. Is that true?
He heaved a deep sigh when I asked that.
僕の状況や時雄に言われたことを合わせても思い出さないなんて指令が聞いたら泣くと思うよ。
What? Yeah, I guess.
The commander?
Mentioning the commander made me remember something he said a while ago.
Oh, you're talking about the Bloom's rules.
もしかしなくてもそうだよ。恋愛禁止だって言われた。僕たちは恋をすると 超能力が弱まるんだ。つまり僕は君に恋をしたから超能力が弱まってしまった。これが君のせいじゃないって言うならなんだって言うんだ。
Sorry. I apologize since I felt bad about it, but then Ayumu furrowed his brow with concern.
いや違うんだ。謝らせたかったわけじゃなくて、つまりそれだけ僕が君のことを好きだって言いたかった。一度は自分から手を離したのに、こんなことを言える立場じゃないけれど。
I think he's blushing a little bitty bit. Just a little bitty bit.
それでも僕の気持ちをもう一度伝えておきたかったんだ。
Thanks. I'm flattered. I was overjoyed Ayumu was still alive and that we still had a chance to be together. Could things have worked out any better? Say something other than I'm flattered or they won't work out. Ayumu continued speaking as I mused on this happy turn of events.
それに君が恋愛禁止のことをなかなか思い出さなかったのは仕方がないのかもしれないね。君より前にブルームズに入ったセナとモカには恋愛をすると超能力が弱まるとはっきり伝えられていたけれど、なぜか指令は君には曖昧な説明しかしなかったから。
Cause he's a fucking weirdo.
結局考えても理由はわからなかったんだけれど。
He's weird.
なんでだったのかな。とにかく指令は君に対していろいろ気を使っている節があるよ。
Maybe, who knows? Does he? Ayumu said that, but all I could think about was the commander's usual carefree attitude. I wasn't really convinced he treated me differently. But it was also true he didn't tell me straight out that my powers would fade if I fell in love.
ところで、
Maybe.
君の得意体質の話だけれど。
Ayumu smiled at me, but the sudden change of subject made me feel overwhelmed for some reason.
時雄が気づいたってことは、おそらく僕と君を比較して推測したはずだ。
Our mom could have had black hair.
ただ、推測だけで君の血を検査するなんて、いくら時雄であってもしないだろう。
Sorry. I was scratching my nose and ow! I must have a hangnail or something. I caught a hair in my nose. I just ripped it out. Ow! Ow! That hurts. Holy shit! Ow! Owie! 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 Oh. God.
であれば、きっと彼は確かめたはずだよね。君が恋をしているかどうかを。
Hello! Hello, hello, hello. We're at a good end. We finally got a good end. We actually got like a mid-end before. Hi, Phantom. Thank you so much for buying the jelly beans, Zedolum. I really appreciate it. Oh no! Oh no! Well, you're back just in time. We're finishing up Ayumu's route. I will eat beans. Oh, I see. My powers didn't weaken even when I fell in love. Yeah. I might have been slow on the uptake, but I now knew what Ayumu was trying to say. I hadn't been direct with either him or Tokyo.
君はなんて答えたのかな。僕はそれを知る権利がある気がするんだけど。
As he drew closer to me with that smile on his face, I figured out the real reason why I felt overwhelmed. Yeah. They switch between genders as they transform. You know, I haven't told Ayumu how I feel about him yet, but Ayumu, I only told Tokyo because of everything that was going on. It happened after you said you wouldn't see me again, so I thought I'd missed my chance to tell you. I pouted a bit as I explained, and Ayumu went from smiling to sulking.
自分でも勝手なことを言っているって分かっているよ。
Yeah.
でも自分よりも先に時雄が君の気持ちを聞いたって分かって。
Also, there were quite a few many
ちょっと
CBT
悔しかっ
jokes
たな。
made during this stream. There was quite a lot of CBT jokes. Actually, Ayumu looks a little cute. I let slip what I was thinking, and Ayumu's entire face flushed bright red.
この僕が可愛いだって。
Oh!
君は本当に僕の予想を超えるようなことを言ってくるな。
I have to listen to that again.
この僕が可愛いだって。君は本当に僕の予想を超えるようなことを言ってくるな。
Sorry, it's just you were sulking like a little kid. Speaking of which, Ayumu suppressed his real self since he was 4. Yeah. Then it was probably unusual for him to talk about his feelings so honestly with someone like he was now. I'd like to open up to him too. If he wants to know how I feel about him, then I'll just tell him. Ayumu, I want to tell you how I feel. I like you too. I don't know when it started, but you've become very dear to me. I want to be with you. I've fallen for you.
ありがとう。君からその言葉を聞けてとても嬉しいよ。
He started out as an absolute raging asshole, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this guy, and then he turned into this sweetie pie.
ねえ、手を出して。
Oh my god, is he gonna give me a ring too? Yes, we did. We kissed at the very, very end. I did, and Ayumu slipped a familiar-looking ring onto my finger. Is this?
うん。僕とお揃い。
Yeah, we did slap him quite a few times.
僕は超能力がなくなってしまったから今までのように害獣とは戦えない。
Matching rings. They're pinky rings. No, you can't play. I don't think that's how that works.
でも代わりに両親や研究者たちと戦って理不尽な戦いから君のことを守る。
Please know, we 100% killed a man. Hyuga is dead. Ayumu, Rizzy and I aren't just people that need protecting. I don't know. I was worried he was gonna do something rash again, but Ayumu gave me a soft smile.
わかってる。だから僕は君と支え合いながら生きていきたいんだ。
Zatenica out here asking the real question.
お互いを守り合える関係。それなら僕たちらしくていいんじゃないかな。君は僕のそばにはみんながいると言ってくれた。だから僕ももう一人で何もかもを背負おうとは思っていないよ。でも僕だって手を伸ばしてもらうだけの存在ではいたくないんだ。
Guess. Yeah, I guess Magpreg doesn't really sound very good.
弱っている人や助けが必要な人に手を伸ばせる存在でありたい。
Also, this game so far, this Otome has been one of like the healthiest communication Otomes I've ever seen.
特に君に対してはね。
Like even more than the beginning of that shit after Root Zetoum, where I was like, where we were like, wow, this is really healthy. Like there's been so much communication. There's been like no miscommunication plots. There was some dramatic irony when we didn't know people's identities, but yeah, we legitimately therapied this boy. Yeah. Tears sprung to my eyes as Ayumu grasped my hand tightly.
君が辛い時は僕が君に手を伸ばす。
Yeah.
君が僕の幸運なら僕もなるよ。君の幸運に。
Aww. If I reached out, someone would take my hand. It may be simple, but for us, getting to this point had been a long and difficult road. That was why I cherished the warmth from his hand. I hoped I always would.
ずっと一緒にいよう。
Aww. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god, wow. Top secret Ayumu Mamiya investigation? What?
レポート不吉な予感が。
I'm sorry.
あの時とか。
Okay, Ayumu. Top secret investigation. Okay, yeah, so we've gotten everything except I do believe I have to get the bad end to get the final CG. Which sucks. We will have to see this man die. Oh yeah, here are all the characters. We have Tokyo, who I'm probably gonna end up doing next. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Ayumu Ibuki.
誰が残したんですか？見ないでください。
The Bloom's shameful past? Conversation 2.
やっぱり気になる。巻き戻してもう一度。
誰だ？
こんなうざいことしてくる人間は俺は2人しか知りません。1人は司令、そしてもう1人は西原さんに決まってます。いつも俺に殴られたくてやってるんですか？
This is Mocha on the right and Senna on the left. Okay. Goodbye, Senna. Thank you so much for stopping by. Bye bye.
いや、そうじゃなかったとしても殴ります。そのまま俺の前から動かないでください。
What?
待って、落ち着いてみはやくん。
待ちません。動くなって言いましたよね。ちょろちょろ逃げ回らないでください。
バイバイ。
ごめんって謝るからそんなに怒らないでよ。俺はただミハヤくんの気持ちをほぐそうとしただけなんだってば。
余計なお世話です。別に俺は気持ちをほぐしてもらいたいなんて思ってませんから。西原さんを追いかけ回すのもバカらしくなってきた。用がないなら出てってくださいよ。
I chase you around, I feel my IQ dropping. What a fucking cold response.
そんなこと言わないでさ。悩み事があるなら話してみなよ。だって本当に空気が重かったよ。
Yeah, just casual oiled up wrestling between bros.
今見てたその動画が関係してるんじゃない？っていうかこれって任務の記録だよね。
まあ普段は俺も見ませんね。自分たちが戦ってる場面を見るのも変だし。
この間ってモラビアとかってやつらが出てきた時のこと？
そうです。西原さんはあいつらのこと気にならないんですか？話すことができる、それも害獣と行動を共にするやつらなんて。
Yeah, sometimes you gotta kiss to show dominance, and sometimes you gotta kiss the homies goodnight. No.
そりゃなるけど、俺たちが調べたところで限界はあるし、大人たちに任せておいた方がいいんじゃないかな。
怖くはないんですか？
怖いって司令たちのこと？
司令たちがというか大人を全面的に信用してしまうことが俺は怖いです。だってあいつらは何かを隠してる感じがする。それにこの映像を見ていて思ったんです。モラビアと害獣の関係性とか、あと今までの司令たちの会話の端々から嫌な想像をしてしまって。
なんとなくミハヤくんの言いたいことはわかるよ。でもさ、俺たちが戦うのをやめたら誰かが犠牲になるかもしれない。その誰かは
俺たちの大事な人かもしれないし、そうじゃなかったとしても誰かの大事な人かもしれないんだ。
More slutty wastes. More slutty wastes.
だから俺たちは戦うしかないんだよ。
そうかもしれませんけど。
ほら、こんなところで考え込んでるから変な想像しちゃうのかもよ。俺さ、ちょうど町に行こうと思ってたんだよね。せっかくだから付き合ってよ、ミハヤくん。
いや、俺は町になんか。
いいからほら行こう。
Oh, there goes shopping. Top secret Ayumu Mamiya investigation. There's a lot of fucking reports here. What the fuck? Internal investigation report, file 4, Ayumu Mamiya.
調査に協力ですか。別に答えたらまずいようなこともないですから、いいですよ。
I'm probably gonna be done after this.
まずはプロフィールですね。間宮歩、高2で生徒会長をしています。
Oh, not far from.
誕生日は5月12日。
Excuse me, sorry. That actually like made me a little dizzy. Wow.
家族についてですか。
Oh no.
いい質問ですね。では心して聞いてください。
Thank you. We've activated his info dump card.
僕にとっての家族は妹の律ただ一人です。両親は一応いますが、生みの親であるというだけの人たちなので家族ではないですね。
Yeah. But we're asking him questions. Oh
い
my
つのこ
god.
とですよ。
No, please.
あの子は本当にいい子なんです。いや、そんな言葉では語りきれない。清楚かつ可憐、おしとやかで優しくて慎み深い、他者への気配りもきちんとできている。むしろそこまで優しくする必要はない。そこらのうぞうむぞうが勘違いしてしまったら危ないというのに。
Sir.
でもそんなところも可愛いというか。
Sir.
とにかくまさにパーフェクトな女性なんです。
The syscon jumps out.
え、もういいんですか？律のことならあと1時間は話せるんですが。なるほど。他の質問にも答えろと言うんですね。生い立ちについて、もう律のことを話さないと語りきれないんですが、それはもういいと。え？時男との関係？ああ、確かに僕のそばにはいつも時男がいました。幼馴染であり家族のようなものですね。
They were really cute when they interacted together. I'm excited to see how they act together on Tokyo's route.
ちなみに兄弟と仮定した場合は当然僕が兄ですよ。時男は自分の方が誕生日が早いから兄だって言い張ってますけどね。あとは超能力や変身後のことについてですか。特に変身時に気をつけていることは何かって。
Yes, that.
あまり話しすぎないようにはしていますよ。万が一にも正体がバレるのは避けたいので。はるかは不愛想だとか言われましたけど、愛想を良くして得になるような人間も周りにいないし、能力の人間は使いすぎないようにしてましたね。結構コントロールが難しいので。そのくせ殺傷能力は高いから仲間を巻き込んだら大変でしたし。
Yeah, you really can't.
ここぞという時の大技っていう位置づけですね。使わなくて済むならその方が絶対にいい。というか戦い自体しなくて済むならしない方がいいに決まっている。
I mean, I'm the youngest of Melorosia, but I am the oldest of my Earth siblings. I mean, it's just me and my younger brother. So,
僕たちは
seen both sides.
超能力を使う道具じゃありませんから。
Oh, that was nice and fast. Okay, well. Yeah. Uh-huh. Is this the sibling you're talking about? I think I'm gonna commission, I still had it loaded from what I showed them earlier on stream, so. I think I might end up commissioning, Kome-san again. Because I have a thing in mind for the bros. I have a thing in mind. Yeah. It's very good art. I'm very, very happy with it. I really like Kobe-san's stuff. And they have a manga too. Like, they're a mangaka. I would buy it if I could figure out where to buy it. Respect. All right, well, I should probably be heading to bed as I am sleepy. So we'll pop over here. Yeah, so you all know the usual song and dance. If you're not already following me on social medias, I'd appreciate it if you would. We'll probably play Pokemon tomorrow and then take up another route on Sunday. I do have... Yeah, we managed to finish a whole route in 2 streams. To be honest, they were a bit long, but that's okay. That's not bad. Yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. I don't believe we'll be finishing another route on Sunday, but we'll see. As well, next week I'll probably be doing the Jelly Bean stream, but... Oh yeah, this is already way faster than Amnesia. But yeah. That's all the time we have for tonight. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. Please cross your fingers that Atami Altan decides to behave better for me. But excuse me. But yeah. Oh, hiccups. A final blessing. Well, without any further ado, bye-bye.